Welcome back to the Big Three, the only three, the Deep Three NBA show. I am your host, Miguel Fernandez, and I'm here alongside Nicholas Lujan.
Yes, sir, baby. Yes, sir. We back. End of the season. No more NBA games. You know what I'm saying? We're done. 82 games. Means shit. What do
I
you?
mean, it's time to give out
You
some
gonna miss the
awards.
game? Yeah, it's time.
No,
It's NBA award
it's time.
season.
It's time to give out some awards. It's time to give out some awards, and it's time to preview the play-in tournament. That's what we're doing today. But before we jump into that, Game 82, it always gives us some fun performances, some crazy ones, some unexpected ones. You go get some shout outs to players who had some big games yesterday. All 30 teams played. Austin Reeves, undrafted rookie, comes out. Triple double, 31, 16, 10 assists. Light work for the White
Which was a
Mamba.
comeback. Comeback
Yeah,
win
comeback win. Best
against
win
the
of
Nuggets.
Frank Vogel's Lakers career.
Yeah, I mean, nah. I don't know about that. But have you heard the rumors though about him?
It's not a rumors, it's a fact. Frank Vogel has gotten fired by the Los Angeles Lakers.
It's a rumors. If he
It's not
doesn't
a
know,
rumor, it's
straight
a
up.
fact. It's a fact. He knows at this
That's
point.
so fucked up.
It is. We had a pair of Knicks go off last night as well. Obi Toppin career high, 42 points, 10 rebounds. And his teammate Emmanuel quickly drops 34 points with a triple double, 12 assists. This is his second triple double in like the last couple of weeks too to end the season.
Yeah, I was about to say Obi Toppin Loki been doing good since Randall playing, getting more minutes. I'm not saying obviously he does better than Randall, but
No,
he's
but
been getting more.
Randall's in his way as in terms of rotation. They play the same position.
I don't know, but yeah, he
I
does
mean,
pretty.
yeah, they like.
I
Oh
mean,
man,
he had a great game. I mean, is this great for him? Is I hope he's I liked him coming out of the draft too. So he was a great player. So he's athletic. He actually playing in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? He I hope he goes into the season, end of the season, and learning that. You know what I'm saying? That to play for that starting lineup because it looks like Randall might be out.
yeah, I think so too. I think he should. He probably is going to be gone. We had Kevin Love go for the most points in under 15 minutes played. He drops 32 points in 14 minutes, 10 rebounds. Who else do we have? Kyrie dropped 35. Malik Monk goes for 41. Jalen Green goes for 41. Klay Thompson goes for 41. Patrick Williams goes for 35. John Con Am I saying is his name first name John? Yeah, John Conchar from the Memphis Grizzlies drops a triple double. And Mamu from the Bucks goes off for 28 and 13. CN Hallboy.
Where you sir?
And Victor Oladipo drops 40 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Those were the game 82 performances. Always a surprising. But
No,
first,
yeah, for sure. This always happens though. Like
yeah,
in
every
those
year.
last games, you always have
Amir
those.
Coffey
You
had
know,
a big
saying
game yesterday too.
these upcoming stars, or saying guys are getting burned off the bench that saying just go crazy for one of those type of games. But it's good to see them. Saying some guys. I mean, like the Nets play their players. The Celtics play their saying
I was surprised the
their
Celtics play their
stars.
guys too. Yeah, before we get to the awards, I'm gonna ask
Yeah,
you about
it
that.
was fun.
So it is pretty clear that the Bucks they didn't even attempt to get the second seed. They benched all their guys, go for the third seed, play the Bulls and avoiding a potential first round matchup with the Nets. How do you how do you feel about that? Like it's pretty clear they were avoiding the Nets in that one, honestly.
I don't know if they was really avoiding. They're like, all right, this is the schedule. You know what I'm saying? This is the last couple of games. There's no point in him sitting out because you never know. You want them to go out there, 100%, get that clinch second seed, and then someone gets hurt. I mean, that's the worst scenario. But I mean, it's not. I'm not saying I'm hoping injury to for a player, but things could happen. Things happen. One fall, one bad, little tweak could be saying something horrible, or not even that. You
So
just want to give
what's
them more rest. They get
exactly,
this
but what's
day
more
off. They get
important to
like
you?
3 days off.
Yeah,
I
what's
think
more
it's
important
fine
to
with
you?
them. I think it
Playing
just shows me that they don't care what team they play. Because
I
they
feel
would
like if
have
they didn't care what team they played, they would have got the second seed. And this is the real question. This is
nah.
the question. Would you
Why
rather
do you say
have
that?
home court advantage? Because listen, they have the second seed. They're on the same side of the bracket. That doesn't change. But what changes is they don't have home court advantage against a potential Boston Celtics matchup second round. That's where that's the biggest difference is you avoid Boston, but you don't get the home court advantage for the second round. If you do play your guys, you win that last game in Cleveland. You go ahead and you get home court advantage against a Boston team that has like crazy fans. Probably has the best home court in the Eastern Conference.
But I mean, they're comfortable with Giannis, and you know what I'm saying. They're gonna play
I
a
think
whole
I think
different
either way
type.
they beat the Nets and the Bucks and the Celtics. I have them coming out that side of the bracket either way, so it really doesn't change anything for me. But that was a topic of conversation this morning. So let's get straight into the awards. We're gonna start
Yes,
off
sir.
with MVP. I'm gonna let you go first. Give me your top five. Go from 5 to 1.
Top five. I mean, here, let me pull up my notes real quick. Give me a second.
5 to 1. You want me to go first?
I'm gonna go with the guy from Milwaukee, the guy with a great season. I'm going with Giannis at the number one.
You have to start. You have to start over. You have to start. You're
No
breaking up. You got to
way.
start over.
Damn. So, my guy from, all the way from Milwaukee, over there, the defending champ, the MVP final,
That's not your
MVP
guy.
finals. I want him. No, I did. I went with him number one. I wasn't gonna be biased. Obviously, I wasn't gonna be biased on this one. Obviously, Embiid's having another great season, but I mean, if you look at the advanced stats, everybody's gonna look at that, and then the last month, saying Embiid's names, saying dropped, and Jokic and Giannis been the two guys they've been talking about. So even though Embiid been performing like at a great level, he's dropping 30, 40. But I mean, I guess you know what I'm saying. I guess they don't agree with it, but I can't lie. Giannis been playing good, so I'm going with Giannis. Then I went with Jokic second too.
And then
Just
Embiid
on the
third.
advanced stats, it was like just too crazy. He like leads in almost in all of them. He's been playing great too. He's a guy. He's that type of player where so he can win any night. He's the type he can win you a game any night. Doesn't matter who's on the court. He's shown it at least the last two seasons with like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. and shit being out the lineup. You know what I'm saying? He's just been playing great basketball. And then as my third, I had to put Joel Embiid. Obviously, he has to be number three. Even though his number, I don't know. I would have low key. I was debating to put him number two just because of seed two. Like you know what I'm saying. We're like number four, but we're technically tied for second. But I mean, obviously, it all came down to season series. Obviously, that's just gonna matter. But we technically tied for the second in the East. But there's like three teams like that. But Embiid and then Ja Moran just had a great season. You know what I'm saying? I went with Ja as four. I don't know if it might surprise you. And then the fifth one might surprise you. I didn't know, but none of you guys were gonna have him. I think if anything, I was gonna put CP3, but I went with Booker.
I had my list was similar to yours. One, I had Jokic one though. I think the shit he's doing this season, where it's just like I don't think we've ever seen a player put up the counting stats, advanced stats, on court, everything just lines up in his favor. He has no teammates. I think you put if you're the argument if you're going based off of like who he's playing with, he's not playing with nobody on the level of Drew Holiday, Middleton, Tobias, even Tyrese Maxey. Even if he had Seth Curry beginning of the season, he would have been his second best player on his team. And the stuff that he's doing with him, with the Nuggets finishing with 48 wins, and then the Sixers and the Bucks finishing with 51. And the records when he plays, he has 46 on the season, and Embiid has 45, and Giannis has 45 when those two guys play on the season. So pretty much the records are all even, but on court, nobody does what he does. The defensive has been improved. Offensively, I think he's the best offensive player in the NBA. Three-level scorer as a big man, could play make best playmaker in the NBA, rebounding at an all-time high for his career. Like that was undebatable, undeniable. Second, I had Giannis. The third, I had Embiid. Those are self-explanatory. Like you made your points already. But fourth is where the 4-5 is where I differ. At 4, I have Devin Booker. I
Same.
think
You had him top 5, but I mean, I think he's had a great season now. Like
I
he
don't know how
has,
you could put CP3 top 5. Honestly,
yeah, like no, I respect he runs the offense, but so does
but Devin
Devin Booker.
Booker's been their best player
Playmaking,
this
yeah,
season. He's
scoring
been their best player
25,
this season.
efficient. You know what I'm saying? He even rebounding. He even his defense improved. You know what I'm saying? He's a leader. He's like their second leader. His
He
players
is.
look up to him. The team look up to him. You know what I'm saying? He's their. You know what I'm saying? He's a star in the future of the Phoenix Suns. To be honest,
He's
because
the present in the
obviously
future.
CP3 he has a long contract, but is he gonna stay all 5 years? A big contract he signed? No, he's
Yes,
probably gonna.
I think he's gonna retire in Phoenix. But I think at this moment and moving forward, Devin Booker is their best player.
He retires in Phoenix, but I don't think he finished the 5 year contract. I think he
Yes,
does
we
like
think they're gonna buy him out.
no. He just retires and they pay him the last 2 seasons when he's off. He's on he has like
I
three
don't
more
know.
years.
I don't think he's about to just retire mid contract. I don't think he's doing that to them. Like that's just crazy.
Why can't he?
Because why not just play out your? That's because why don't you just play it out?
If he wins a ring, he might fuck around and just you know
I
end
don't
it
know.
all right there.
I don't see it like that. But
But I
I
mean, I
don't.
don't know. I had to put Devin Booker up there, but who's your four? Who's your five though?
At 5, I don't. First of all, John Morant. I've been on the hype train all season long, but to have him top 5 in MVP is just absurd to me.
He
Like
was a killer all season. He's
games
been playing
missed,
good.
games missed. You have to hold that accountable. And then like his team is great, but his team has been great without him on the floor as well. So that stat is a little 18-2 when John Morant doesn't play is crazy.
How many
That's
games
crazy.
he has?
He's played. How about this? He's played less than the guy that I have in 5th, and that is Luca Doncic.
That's a
I
good
think
pick though.
I
He's
think
been
Luca's
playing
had a
good.
better season than Ja. Ja's one of my favorite players in the NBA. Most exciting player to watch in the league for a fact. But it was hard for me to put him top 5, especially when D Book and Luca and he probably was like a 6, maybe battling for 6 with like Jason Tatum or somebody of that caliber. But they're all in the same tier for me.
He played 57 games, enough to make the list. And second of all, um, Luca played 65, which was 7 more games than him. You really gonna take that off of him
That's
for
8
having
games,
such a
but
great year? And
that's
having
like
the second seed, and obviously his team is good. They won without him. But shit, when he's on the court, he's the guy who takes them to the team, and he's the reason why.
I'm not. But I just said I had him 6. I had him 6, but I just give
I don't
Luca the
know.
edge over him.
I
I
don't
give
know.
Luca the edge over him.
Just for the games, I don't know. But it's not. Luca's
Not
playing
even
good. Though.
it's not
That's a
even
great
just
pick.
it's not even just games
You
like
look at
stats
this say only
wise.
games though.
No, but that holds some weight. That's like in the argument. Luca playing
Nah,
more
but yeah,
games than
Luca
him.
is going crazy now. Yeah, he is. I respect it.
And we now, but next we gonna move on. We gonna keep it pushing. Defensive player of the year. This is where the controversy is gonna come because it seems like every single person has a different list.
You
But
think so?
yes, I feel like everybody I've heard has had somebody different over here. Like Kevin O'Connor, for example, from the Ringer. He just posted up his whole ballot. He just posted. He has a vote, and his ballot was for DPOY. He had Rudy 1, Marcus Smart 2, and Mikal Bridges 3. And I've heard every person I've listened to has had a different ballot. But I'm gonna go first. Wait, should I? Taha is supposed to join us later on in the show, so I'll just wait for him to say his stuff. If not, I'll read off his ballot if he doesn't end up coming.
Yeah.
But for
Just
DPOY for
hold
me,
this.
yeah, I have his. He sent me his list. I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna start from the bottom. At third, I have Jaron Jackson Jr.
Ooh,
See,
surprising, but he's been so
I'm
good.
giving the Grizzlies. I'm giving the Grizzlies love on here for a fact. He's been a great defender all season long. One of the high block leaders in the NBA. Where it's just like he can have 5-7 blocks whenever. He's doing a lot on their team as well. Where he's going from the 4, playing defense at the 5 as well in different lineups. They have him switching. They have him in a drop, and he's been performing well on every side of the court defensively. Next at 2. This is where I did my own thing on here, bro. I didn't listen to the naysayers. I didn't go with the popular picks. I went Robert Williams as my second place defensive player of the year. And I think him and the guy that's in first place are very similar. They allow their teams to play different coverages and play any coverage they want in the NBA. Drop, switching, a zone. They could play everything. They could guard multiple positions, protect the rim. But Robert Williams, he was manning not probably the best defense in the NBA this season. And he's just alongside great defenders. Marcus Smart was a guy that got a lot of consideration at this spot. But it was hard for me to put him on. Like, that's who I really had at first. It was like, I could probably go Marcus Smart. But then it's like, he's not even the best defender on his team.
He was so close to making my team.
Like, I see,
He was four.
that's the sexy pick this year is Marcus Smart for defensive player of the year. But he's not even the best defender on his team to me, in my opinion. I had to go Robert Williams. I think he's having just a tremendous season, and he's a most improved candidate to me. He's not in the top 3, but he's on the outside looking in as a guy that could barely even touch the court these last couple of seasons, and now he's a starter, and he's playing every single game and helping them win.
Yes, sir. And I called it. Been in the bandwagon in the last a year or two. I was telling you, but he's so good. I was even telling you before, like
but you wouldn't even know his nickname, so I don't even fucking respect you.
It's not. It's not. I don't even know.
You don't even know his name was Time Lord.
He probably just got that.
Nah, he's had it since he came into the NBA.
Okay, he just got it.
I first heard it in the bubble.
4 seasons. He has 4
I first
seasons.
heard it in the bubble, and I was like, "Are they talking about Grant Williams? Because who the fuck is Time Lord?" And then last year I was like, "Oh, that's Rob Williams," because he's always been in and out of the lineup, but now he's had a tremendous season, especially defensively. But at first place, I gave it to the best defender in the NBA. Could play any coverage, could guard anybody. He could go from guarding the ball handler to blocking the alley-oop at the rim. I seen what?
For his fingertips too, right?
Everything blocking it. He's blocking dunks in the rim with his hand bent. I seen him performance against the Hornets, or my man's start off the play guarding Terry Rozier, switched on to Miles Bridges, then switched on to somebody else and got a stop on every single one of those people. And that man is Bam Adebayo. Best defender in the NBA, could play any coverage, could guard anybody. We could play him in a drop. He's probably the best switch defender in the NBA. There's not much I can say. And he's a high charges guy. And the charges are just a lovely stat when it comes to defense.
I respect it. So I'm gonna go with mine for the same order as yours, like from 3 to 1. I went with Robert Williams too after 3.
I'm surprised. I didn't think nobody was gonna have him.
I went with him too. I kind of like looked at the candidates too. They wanted to see. He was like low key up there too. Like they had him, but he's like 6, like up there. But like he's been, you know what I'm saying. Robert Williams was playing. He's been playing good though. Like he's a great shot blocker. The main, like you said, the main reason the Celtics defense is because of him. Because he could do the same thing as Bam, but not. You know what I'm saying. He's like right there. He's just good improving.
They're really like similar defenders. It's just I think Bam is better on the perimeter, but Rob Williams is better at protecting the rim. It's like they're very similar in that.
Yeah, for sure. But he's still a guy for his size that moves his feet really good. You know what I'm saying? He's a great defender for the Celtics. Helps them a lot. The reason why they ended up being the second seed when they were at the 11th seed at a point in this season. So, you know what I'm saying? Respect to him. Marcus Smart, another one was a candidate, but I didn't go with him. But he was right there to make it my first spot.
I got one stat I want to throw out about Robert Williams. He's the reason, like these top 2 candidates that I have, Bam and Rob Williams, the Celtics are number 1 in switches per game. They switch the most out of every single team. And the Heat are right there behind them. I think they're top 5, and they're right there behind them. And those 2 bigs that's why they're the only teams that could really do that and excel at it. Because it's only a few teams that have a big that's that mobile that could really you could put them on perimeter, you could trust them to recover back and grab a rebound, recover back and protect the rim.
That's wild. No, because they're so similar. So like it's like it's like you understand it, you see it. So you know what I'm saying. But like my second, I'm surprised you didn't go with this guy. Honestly, like you low key disrespected him. I gotta tell you right now, but it's alright. You know what I'm saying? Mikal Bridges, this team being the first seed, he's the main. He has a great. He's a great factor for that. Reason why? Because he guards the best offensive player every single night. Doesn't matter who is the team, he's gonna go him. Reason why? Because he has the length. He's like 6'7". Like
I
his
mean, he might be pushing 6'8", 6'9".
yeah,
He
like
might
he's
be.
tall and his
He's
arm length
lengthy.
is crazy, and
Yeah.
he has a great body type. When I'm saying he's not a guy that you could just back down, but he's so great. He's been so good with his feet. I don't know. I had to put him up there number two, and then you know what I'm saying. He's another guy that's moving up there to win Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, we didn't name that bum ass motherfucker Rudy Gobert because you're finally starting to understand that he can't
I have my
defend.
reasonings. He
He
can't
can't
defend.
defend.
I have
He
I have
can't
my
defend
reasonings for not having him. I'm not
because he
having him
can't
and
defend.
Giannis in my top 3.
So
I have my
McCover is on the
reasonings.
way to you know what I'm saying becoming that another guy. You know, so I think
He's probably
Bam's
the
gonna win it.
best perimeter defender in the NBA for his position.
Yeah, for sure. And Bam obviously is gonna win his first one. Respect to him. He's been playing so good. He's been
I
you know what I'm
hope
saying
so. I don't think he's
defensively.
gonna
So
win it though.
what? Who do you think they're gonna give it to?
I think the games played is what's gonna hold him back. But I don't know. I think that's what's
Like,
gonna hold him back. I think he still deserves the award. Like obviously I picked him for a reason. He's played enough games to qualify for the award.
it's
But I just think
57. You was right.
you need 56 to qualify. So we know that. And I remember a couple years ago, Rudy Gobert won his first DPOY, and he played less games than Bam did this year. So I
Oh, so
think
hell no, nah, yeah, yeah, hell
there's a
no.
precedent for like there's a
If
precedent for like
that's
it's
the
happened
case, if
before.
that's the case, then hell no, because with the Bam, bro, yeah, number one seed, and he's a great shot blocker, and he's guarding 125. Like hell no, you're bugging. He's
Yeah,
winning
like
it.
nobody in the NBA is doing what he's
I did
doing.
not know that
Honestly,
Rudy Gobert won it with less games than that. So if he
yeah,
won it, then I mean,
his first year
they
of winning
probably will most
DPOY.
likely give it to Bam then. But he is the favorite though. For
I
sure.
doubt it.
He's the
He's the
favorite.
favorite
I
right
don't know why
now.
you say you doubt it. He is a
I
favorite.
don't know because I'm just seeing a lot of Marcus Smart love. Everybody I see is saying Marcus Smart, but if he gets it, he gets it. But
I'll
as
be
long as he
wild.
gets an all defensive team, that's where I would be
If
surprised if he don't
anything,
make the
go with
first
Mikal
team.
Bridges if not Bam. Honestly, he's been playing so good.
But I wanted to say something. There's a reason why I didn't go with why I didn't
Bro, I
have
already
Rudy
said it. Why do you gotta repeat yourself?
or Giannis. They were both looked at, and I see a lot of people picking them. But I just can't give DPOY to a guy whose team isn't even top 10 in defense in NBA. Like the 3 guys I chose, Grizzlies 6th, Miami's 4th, Celtics are 1. Those three guys are on top 5 to top 7 defenses in the NBA. And the Bucks and the Jazz have both taken a step back in the aspect of the game. And they're just they're not even top 10. They're like 12 and 13. And you need to be breaking the top 10 for me to be in all like DPOY love.
Yeah, because you're finally starting to realize it's all right, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just admit it.
I don't even want to talk shit about him. But we're gonna move on.
Because I was right the whole time. That's why. You just don't want to give me my respect.
I think that his coach is the reason. You're gonna see Rudy Gobert is gonna leave the Jazz, and that's when he's really gonna get his respect.
Either
Honestly,
him or Donovan Mitchell. Either one. It's leaving. And it's most
when
likely going to be Rudy Gobert because if they
there's
want
a
to
reason when you
move
see
the
those
future,
stats
it's
that
going to
come
be
out, bro.
Donovan Mitchell.
Those
But
stats are when
they're good.
he averages 1 or 2 passes a game to Rudy Gobert a game.
They're
That's
fine. They pick up Valanciunas. They're fine.
if they pick up Valanciunas, they might not make the playoffs next year.
They're
Honestly,
fine.
bro. What
They're fine.
if
They
you
don't need him.
send Rudy Gobert to a
They
team
don't need
like
him.
send Rudy Gobert to a team that actually
If
has guys that
anything,
are going to
put
pass him the
past.
ball.
It wasn't him. Eric. Freak. I forgot his name. Donovan Mitchell's homie that played for the Jazz too. That he
Pascal.
Pascal. Yeah, you know from the Warriors. Put him over there. Nah, he's too small. But I mean,
They're
bro, I
still
mean,
Rudy Gobert is still
he's
one
so
of the best.
overrated. It's crazy.
You can't go wrong. You can't lie to it. The analytics love him. That's a fact.
Yeah,
He has
because
the highest defensive rating in the NBA.
he's a European player. He would have been the MVP if he was in Europe. Because there's no shot. There's no violation of being in the paint. He could be as long as he wanted to paint.
He's not even a bad Swiss defender. Motherfuckers be gassing at. His teammates just don't fight over
He
screens.
can't switch.
That's
Okay,
his
but
problem.
okay, and what does that mean? He still can't guard a guy that switch off. That happens every single game. Doesn't matter what happened in the playoffs. He won the defensive player of the year and he got attacked. He was a
But you're
guy
just
who got,
gonna. We talked about this so many times. You're just gonna ignore the fact that the Clippers just go 5 out, and the Jazz did nothing to.
they weren't the only. They weren't. That's not the first time it happens to him. It happened every other fucking playoff series. It happened every single fucking series they played. What are you talking about? He was the most
They
attacked
go.
switch on it
They
for a
There's just
reason.
there's a
Half
recipe on
scored.
how to beat the. There's a recipe on how to beat the Jazz, but the
And that's the
Quinn
recipe.
Snyder
It's been
has
the
made
recipe
no
the last
adjustments
couple
to it.
years.
Quinn Snyder has made no
Okay, but
adjustments
you
to it.
cannot
When
deny that.
a team goes 5 out and Rudy Gobert posts up and they don't even feed him on the block, and we've seen it time and time again. We
Why
talk about
does
this conversation. We talk about this too.
why does your coach have to switch when you have the defensive player of the year supposedly? The
You
guy
have
that
to.
you guys are
It's
gassing,
called making
right?
adjustments. It's called making adjustments.
He's not good. He's overrated. Simple as
His
that.
his coach is what's overrated. We're going on to we've already talked about we talk about Rudy Gobert like once a month. We talk about him. Let's go on to most improved player of the year.
Most
You
improved.
could go first in this one.
This isn't gonna surprise you. I don't think it's gonna surprise you. I think it's obvious. You know what I'm saying? I went with the guys that obviously I've been saying it all year he shouldn't be a candidate, but you guys been telling me all year.
I
I've
didn't
been
go with
following.
Ja. I didn't go with Ja. I
But
went.
why? But why? You guys been saying he was a candidate all season. That's why I went with him.
You want to know why?
Right or wrong? Right or wrong? I've been saying, and you guys, oh no,
You right.
so I
I
went
said
with
he was
him
a candidate, but I didn't go with him top three
because
because
I
I
was wrong.
sat down. I sat down. It was time to make my list. It was time to choose my award winners, and I'm like, I'm not gonna let the general public sway me on who I want to vote for. Like I'm not gonna go with the pick that everybody's going. I'm not gonna let nobody like have like who they pick is gonna change who I want to pick or like affect how I'm voting. So I went with three guys that I felt like were the most improved players from last season to this season. We probably have a different list,
Yeah, we probably do.
but go ahead, go give me your go through 3 to
Oh
1.
yeah, I forgot it was me. My fault. I thought you was going about to say it, but my fault. I'm going number one. Obviously, I said already, John. If he's obviously the best if he player that he's a candidate for it. Everybody been saying it, even you guys. He's been playing good though. You know what I'm saying his numbers don't lie. We already talked about him obviously.
Yeah, we talk about him a lot, but yeah, he's a great player.
So,
Hell of a season,
but the
All
other guy
NBA.
who I think he's another guy who probably had a he's one of the biggest guys that had a bounce a crazy bounce here. He had a jump here. Like he went really high. I'm saying it was so crazy because it was Alpha's rookie year, and that was Desmond Bain. Like I went with him second. He's been playing so good. His team, you know what I'm saying. His team is a second seed in the West, surprisingly, and you know what I'm saying they've been good without Ja. And you know what I'm saying
Does
when
he
Ja's not playing, they go to him. Obviously, they're good without him too. He has, you know what I'm saying, but he's been playing good.
does he lead them in games played this season?
He might be a candidate. I think Jaron Jackson Jr. If anything,
I'm about to look it up right now. Who leads them in minutes?
I
But go
think
ahead.
it's Jaron Jackson Jr. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was a Steven Adams. Cause Steven Adams, he played a lot of games. He barely missed games. So, and my third, I respect this guy so much. Respect him so
It
much.
was Jaron Jackson Jr. By the way. He played 78. Desmond Bain played 76.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So I respect this guy so much. Like you know what I'm saying. He's just starting to become one of my favorite players. Definitely got to get his jersey from San Antonio to Dejounte Murray. Man, he's a walking triple double. Like it's ridiculous. If I'm not mistaken, I think he has like over
The
10
second most
triple
triple
doubles.
doubles this season. I
He has
think.
13.
I think he has the second
He
most. I
has
think he's behind
13. I've
Jokic.
seen it, and it's crazy. He's balling out. Like he's so good. I don't know. I think you give like 2 more years for the San Antonio, and they can make a run. And I think Pop, if you're saying he starts, if he sees, he believes in them. I think he believes in Dejounte Murray. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up playing this last journey with him and make this last run with them. If they could draft good, hope Josh Primo, that young kid that they went with, the next 2 years we see him blow up a little or see something from him.
I think for being the youngest player in the draft, he had a decent rookies. He had moments. Obviously he's behind like a packed guard room. Like it was hard for him to get minutes, especially on a Popovich team. Like he's not playing an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
But I think he has some bright spots throughout the season.
So yeah, I went with the Johnson Marin. He's a walking triple double. So I respect him so much. So
So for me, I'm gonna go 3-1. I wanna shout out to one guy that he didn't make it, but I really wanted to have him on. But Darius Garland, he didn't make my list. He should have made it, but these other guys just had a bigger leap. But he was somebody that went from like a decent starter to like borderline All NBA player this season. But my third place most improved player, Anthony Simons. He got
damn.
my third. He got my third. The leap was you could just look at the stats; they speak for itself, and the fact that he just went from being like a decent player off the bench, barely even notice him to having games where he's going 30-10. Like he had a crazy stretch, and then like I want to see in the middle of the season where he just was lighting the league on fire, just like back to back to back to back. He had a crazy stretch. He had just a great season. You could just tell how much his game improved coming in from being one of the youngest players in the NBA. Hopefully, we can see a guy like Josh Primo take the same steps as him in development wise, because they do have similar stories as being young guys coming into the league, coming
Yeah,
into a team that's not really tanking or anything like that, where he's gonna get a lot of touches. But I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna go to the second spot. Second place, I have Miles Bridges. I think his leap was really crazy, as in he really went from a guy that was like just like a lob threat, good in transition, hit some spot up threes, to now he's really off the dribble. He could score a bucket on almost anybody. Plays bully ball, could hit pull up 3 pointers, and the athleticism, and he's even a decent defender as well. I think he had a great season, especially a great start to the season. He was a borderline all star at this point, like middle, like right before All Star break. A lot of people were debating having him on.
no, shout out to him. He was so close to making my list. Like I was looking at him, like yo, I even been talking about him. We've been talking about him all season too. He's another guy talking about him all season. He's just so good. He could really score the ball now. He could really score.
Yeah, he
Little
became a
score.
great scorer this season.
Yeah,
We're gonna
little
get to him
score.
later because we are
And
gonna
then the crazy
preview
thing
the
that
game.
he's a guy who loves the contact. He plays that bully ball too. Like
Yeah,
he's like a Jimmy Butler that could shoot, but like taller.
yeah, hold on. It's decent, a decent comp. They are two physical players. But at number one, I'm going for a guy that was borderline unplayable 2 seasons ago. Last season was on a terrible team, and this season he made his mark on one of the best teams in the Western Conference. And I'm going with Jordan Poole as my most improved player of the year. I think he's improved playmaking wise, scoring wise, shooting, like defensively. He looked great this season as well. He's just been on a tear, and especially and what really put the finishing touch having for me to have him as my first place was the last 25 or so games. He just went on a like just an absolute heater and was just going off. He was their best player to close out the season, and that was him sharing the court with the Klay Thompson. Yeah, he got a lot better this year from last year.
For sure, he finished off on a heater, like you said. What last 25,
I think he
15,
scored.
15,
I think
20
he
games,
scored 20
or
plus in
25.
like 18 of the last 20 games, something like that.
Yeah.
Like it was
And
really
to be exact, I searched it up too when we were talking about it. It was like 27. So it was way more, but over 25 plus last, he what, 15 games or 20 games that when we looked at it? I think it could have even been 25, if I'm not mistaken. But he was on the heater. Shout out to him. He was another guy who had a great year.
yeah. Next up, sixth man of the year. We're not even gonna talk about who's gonna win it. We might as well just go to second and third place. It's like now, let me stop. Let me stop. Third, I'm gonna go first though. I'm gonna start off with my third. I
Yeah, go first on this.
I snubbed Cam Johnson. I'm not gonna lie to you. He did not make my top three. I just this guy right here. He had a tremendous season and he had an underrated six man of the year season. And the team was better when he was on the floor. And that is Tyus Jones. Made my third place for me for six man of the year. His impact was noticeable. Anytime you watch them play, him and Brandon Carr come off the bench and that duo was ridiculous. He played great with the starters. He played great when John Morant wasn't there. He was just like a true backup point guard this season, and he orchestrated a lot of what they did throughout the year.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who?
CP3. Like he could become a CP3 to play.
Like a true point guard, right? Now,
Yeah.
like I get exactly what you mean.
And then like I could see him start like when he starts getting more comfortable, confident, more minutes, or maybe he could be like maybe he might be a guy that gets moved because they got so many. They're so guard deep, and but obviously wouldn't want to move him. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep him, but he might. You know what I'm saying? He might get offered maybe somewhere else when his contract ends up coming to an end. You know what I'm saying?
He
So
has a speaking of comparison, he has a similar career arc to another true point guard, a future Hall of Famer in Kyle Lowry. Starts off his career with a team that doesn't really get a lot of minutes. He had a good college. He had a good start off with a good college career. Gets into the NBA. He's playing minutes with a team, but it's already a little loaded at the point guard position. When he got drafted, I want to say by Minnesota. He already had guards over there. Same thing with Kyle Lowry. He got drafted into the Grizzlies, who had drafted Mike Conley in the first round that same year. He gets moved on to another team, and he really found his footing in Houston. Was it Houston? But either way, started off as a backup for a majority of the beginning of his career. Didn't make his first All Star team until about his eighth or ninth season in the NBA. And I could see this. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be an All Star, but it's similar career paths to Kyle Lowry.
no, yeah, I could see it.
Second place, I had Kevin Love. I
I,
think if Tyler Hero didn't have the season he had, Kevin Love would have been sixth man of the year. If Tyler Hero was in the starting lineup for the Heat, Kevin Love would have been sixth man of the year. That's just a
um,
fact.
like we have this, we pretty much have this similar list. I went third with Cam Johnson, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
like touch,
you could have easily Cam John's probably a better candidate than Tyus Jones,
yeah,
but I try to give him some love because he had a great season off the bench for
respect,
Memphis.
respect. But like, yo, nah. I wanted to touch on Kevin Love though. What a year! Shout out to him after coming out. I'm saying last what a year he didn't even play or even it could have been longer than that. He was barely even getting minutes. He got dropped off the USA team. They were calling him lazy. He wasn't comfortable. They were calling him a lot of stuff. He was coming out of this year like he had to play great, and he's been a great leader. You know what I'm saying for them. Reason why, surprisingly, they surprised me especially. I had them like being one of the worst teams even before the season. I already gave them the respect. Like you know what I'm saying. I took. You know what I'm saying they've been balling, but he's been part of that. He's a great leader. It's a vet who comes out there, shoots, lights out, rebounds. The great
He's
rebounder for
probably
his size.
for majority of the season, he's probably their second best scorer. Like we
Yeah,
keep it in a stack.
yeah.
Majority of the year, he probably was their second best scorer.
He's confident out there, getting the ball, shooting everything.
Yeah, he's
You
had
know what
some
I'm saying?
great
He has.
games.
You know what I'm saying? Even handling the balls, getting the mid range, even getting inside scoring. But he's been great for sure. You know what I'm saying? He could probably be he could be very helpful in the playoffs for them. And this could be
Definitely
we'll touch on that later on. But
Yeah, for sure. He had a great year. Shout out to Kevin Love. He's probably gonna be he's on my another one of my ballots of our personal awards
and
when we get
Tyler
there.
Heroes, shout out to my boy out from high school. We support him. Even though last year, you know what I'm saying, uh, you know what I'm saying, I hold
He,
accountable these guys.
he
You know
had a
what I'm saying?
down
They
year. He
play
had
good.
a down
He
year
had it
last
down
year.
here, and I was calling him out for it. It's fine. I'm saying, but he's having a great year. And my boy's right with 6 minutes. So
I think yeah, that's probably the only lock out of all the awards. Probably coach of the year is close to a
since like
lock.
he's been locked since like the first like 30 games.
Yeah, this is one of the best six man of the year seasons like that
Number
I've
one,
seen.
probably too, right?
It's one of the best like 6 man of the year seasons ever. He's efficiency like he's shooting 45 and 40%. The playmaking has gotten better like each game like throughout the season. I think he's at what is he at 25-4 or something like 24-4. Defense isn't there, but he just played a true six-man role. Come in, he reads the game, and he comes in and he just impacts the game at so many levels offensively. The Yeah, he was a candidate for most improved as well, but the other guys, his stats didn't take a big enough jump from last season. But he's definitely just a completely different player than he was.
Oh, yeah,
Even even then, I hate when people say this like they're like, oh, like bubble heroes back. And I'm like, he's a completely different player than he was when he was in the bubble.
it just sucked because it was his rookie year. So
Exactly. But he's a
what's your
completely different
expectation
player
for
from that point.
what's
Yeah.
your rookie year?
Yeah, he's great. Shout out to
And
him.
not even that, they got time to work in his game and stuff. So he even came in better. So
Yeah,
it was
I didn't even really even think about that. Like he didn't. The biggest like improvement for rookie is the off season, where the game he takes the game in for the season. He plays a full 82. Like you don't play that many games in college,
exactly.
then you're able to grow your game into how you need it after you've seen it in your first season.
And he was training with my boy Tyrese Maxey. So
Yeah, that Kentucky brotherhood.
so
Yeah, shout out to him. How many? I was trying to search out how many 30-point games did he have off the bench? I think it was like 6.
that's why he probably was led by like at least 2.5 over.
He had 8 30-point games off the bench.
Who's the
And
second?
this is included. Oh, I don't even know. I would probably it's probably like Kevin Love or Kelly Oubre. I know
Oh
Kelly
yeah,
Oubre
Kelly
had a great
Oubre had a
season
couple
as well.
games. He
So
was
he has
another
8
candidate.
30-point games and 29 20-point games.
There's another guy who had a great year too. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But moving on to Coach of the Year.
I want to hear this one.
You want me to go first?
I already know what you're gonna go first, so go ahead.
I'm going in order. I'm gonna go 3-1. I have Spoelstra at 3.
You're lying.
What you mean am I lying? Like
Yes, yes, but 3.
you think he shouldn't have made it?
Nah, he should have made it. It's tough.
You thought I would have had him higher?
Nah, I thought you would have had him. I
I,
thought you had him
I
one.
I'm
I
not
think
I'm
you had
not
him one.
biased. I think I would have. Like my bias in me wanted to put him 1. Because he did what these other 2 guys didn't do, but except the guy I have at 1 did do what he did this season. Okay.
Yeah.
But his season was just this is probably his best coaching season of his career though. For a fact. With the amount of games that I think they said Jimmy, Tyler, Bam, and Kyle combined to miss 82 games in the season. Duncan Robinson
Yeah,
and
that's
Max
wild. Yeah, for
Strus
sure.
led them in minutes this season.
For
Like
sure.
that's just a wild stat. And he kept them above. He kept them top 10 in both offense and defense for majority of the season. I think offense is at like 11 or 12 right now. That's for about a month now. But yeah, he had a great season. And he got the most out of so many guys that nobody even knows. Like Yurtsevin, bruh, the way he looks now is so much different than how he looked when the season was going on. Oh, we're joined by a special guest out of nowhere. Let's
Yeah,
add him into the stream.
Yes, sir.
what's
Tahashi.
good? What's good?
Yes, sir. What's up,
Yo,
Tyler?
we're at Coach of the
Going
Year.
on,
How you
man?
doing?
I'm chilling, bro. I was supposed to be here since the start, but emergency
You
came through,
straight, you
so
straight.
yeah, a little bit late, but
Yo, we're
yeah,
gonna we just started Coach of the Year. After we give out the awards, then I want you to start from where I want you to give your top whatever we missed. I want you to just throw them out there. Quick
I
spiel.
bet.
We'll get to it. But Coach
But
of the Year, I'm going from 3-1. I had Spoelstra at 3rd. Self-explanatory. We just talked about it. At 2nd, I have Monty Williams. This is gonna be the shocker. I knew he was good. I knew Nico was gonna make that face. Cause
What? No way.
Williams
There's
second?
no way. I don't want to hear it.
at
I don't
first,
want to hear
at
it.
first,
I'm not even gonna let you finish
I
it
think I know
now.
who you're gonna say. I think I know who you're gonna say.
at
I know who
first,
he is.
who?
Nick Nurse.
Try to go
No,
with the other one.
I'm going with Taylor Jenkins.
Oh,
My
Exactly,
preseason
Taylor
Coach of the
Jenkins.
Year pick.
I knew that's
Preseason
what.
Coach of the Year pick, and I'm sticking to it. And my boy made it. He brought it all the way home. He deserves it the most out of anybody on this list. Going 18-2 with your best player missing that many games, playing that many young guys, being consistent all year long.
now that is
Monty
crazy.
Williams had more talent than he did on his roster. He exceeded expectations more than Monty Williams did. Monty Williams is a great coach. It's an honor to finish 2nd. But first, I got to give it to my man Taylor Jenkins.
Disrespect to him. My boy hasn't won
Nico,
it.
who'd you say?
So I'm gonna go right now. Obviously,
Oh, okay.
I respect Spo. I will show him love, but I went biased with this. Reason why I went biased is
There's
a
no
particular
way,
reason.
bro.
Is a particular reason why I went biased because you guys were talking shit about him. Like, oh, he's a bad coach, this and that. But this year he had a great coach. You know what I'm saying? Debut in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? He used to be future.
I thought he was about
Oh.
to say Doc Rivers.
I thought he was
I
about
was
to say Doc Rivers too.
about to tweet.
Oh,
bro. I'm
Get
about to
out
say,
of here.
hell
Get out of
no.
here.
I don't know how you could give. I don't know how you could put Jason Kidd over Spo.
But
Like,
obviously,
but you said you're being biased. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm being biased. Obviously, Spo deserves. He had a great year, like you said. All the reasons you guys had no Jimmy Bam, still got the first seed in the East.
Yeah,
but a tough. It was obviously deep. I was just went biased Jason Kidd because of that particular reason. Because you guys were talking so much shit, but yo, respect him, bro. Y'all gotta give him his respect. He had a great year.
Yeah, he did.
All this
He
shit
had a
that
great
happened
season with them. But he's like Thibodeau.
It wasn't him out there putting guys out like the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, he's like, but hold on, he's like Tom Thibodeau though. The first year is always fun. The first year is always fun with Jason Kidd. It's all about the second season.
You remember
we seen it in Brooklyn. No,
Jason
Kidd, first year in Brooklyn. They were cool.
Second round.
Second year, he fakes dropping water on his shirt to get a timeout.
Same
shit in Milwaukee, bro. Look at first season he puts Giannis at point guard, they go crazy. Second season, they no improvement. Third, he's out of there. Boom, Coach Bud comes in and gets in the first seed. I don't say shout out Jason Kidd. He would have made top. He's in like my top 5, maybe. He's up there. It's a couple guys, but I don't know. I think Ime Udoka had a better case than he did.
That's actually,
out of Boston. Yeah. He had a great season. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And my second one with Taylor Jenkins, obviously with him because you said already. You saying you went with him number 1. Obviously, he had a great year with them. Ja Morant's been out like he missed a lot, like 19, 20 games.
He missed 18-2 when Ja Morant doesn't play.
Yeah, so 20 games in total. He's been a great coach even in the last couple of years. You know what I'm saying? He has always been, I think, at least since we've been recording the podcast, I think we all have had him at least in our top 3, like no cap. Like, if you really think about it, I think we have. I don't know if Tyler has him this year, but I mean, obviously,
I don't think. I look at Tyler's list. He don't got Taylor Jenkins on that shit.
I don't.
Oh yeah,
kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out.
But I have a reason though. I have a good reason.
But he had to. Like, what's a good reason? Like,
exactly. I want to hear why.
I want to hear.
Nico, hold on. Nico, you have Monty Williams first, obviously.
I want Monty Williams first, so
it's self-explanatory.
Right, so for mine, I put for my third one. This isn't somebody who I think is a top 3 coach, but I only put him because I think that it's just inevitable that he's going to get votes. Like, he's at that point, and that's Coach Budenholzer for the Bucks.
How?
I just don't know, bro. He had a down season. If you're talking about down from last season, it is.
He did. But he's at that point. He didn't have his guys. He didn't know what to do with Giannis. You still had your superstar. You couldn't pull out a win with Jordan Noah. Come on,
he's at that point.
You gotta take that accountability. Like Giannis did. You know what I'm saying? He had Giannis for most of the season. He missed those season when he had no.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
He didn't know what to do after you watched their games.
I agree with all the stuff that you're saying, but I'm just telling you that's what I think he's gonna finish top 3 in voting for the simple fact that he's just coming off a championship season and he's also a top 3 seed. That's just what I think is gonna happen.
Let me ask you a question. So are you going based off of what you expect the awards to come out to be, or are you going off of your personal, like, this how you feel about each award?
I'm glad you asked me that. For the third spot, that I did the former, like that. I think that Coach Bud is going to be in there. But for my second and first, this is what I actually think should be the
I feel all right.
The place. I kind of mixed it up a little bit, so I have a little bit of everything. But yeah, I got Budenholzer third, and then honorable mention for 4th and 5th is the Grizzlies coach and then the Raptors coach, Nick Nurse, and this dude, I forgot his name. Yeah, Taylor Jenkins. For second, I got Spo because he didn't have Jimmy or Bam for half the season, and he also the Heat got hit pretty bad with health and safety protocols this year. A lot of teams did, but the Heat were like one of the teams that got hit harder. I think the fact that they clinched the first seed with all the injuries and the health and safety protocol drama and all the locker room stuff that is happening, like, that's been made public. It might not be that big of a deal, but it looked like it was.
It don't look like it.
Yeah,
like that.
But yeah, so the fact that all that stuff happened. It was an up and down season with Kyle Lowry being up due to personal stuff every other week.
Yeah, is that the most you've seen a player? He missed like 20 games due to personal reasons this season.
Yeah, I don't.
That
know
might be
what
the
it
most
was.
I've ever seen. I don't want to. I want to put out fake stuff, but I'm not even gonna say. I'll tell you guys off camera.
The only other time I've seen a player miss that much time for a personal thing
it was Drew Holiday.
When his wife had that tumor.
Yeah. Yo, and another, just saying they got discussed all season long. Rui Hachimura missed mad time this season.
Yo, I was telling you that for personal.
Yo, he missed like a lot of like probably like 40 games.
I thought he was
like
injured,
a lot.
or something, or I don't know how the conversation came up, but
wasn't his thing? Didn't his thing have something to do with like his papers or something?
It could be.
Was that why?
I'm not sure.
That's still personal reasons.
Hold on.
That is for sure. He can't be
that is.
What you expecting? How do you expect him to play?
Yeah, it doesn't say, but he missed the first 39 games of the season. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's wild.
But I'm guessing you have Monty Williams first.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that Suns team looks pretty unstoppable right now.
They do, for a fact.
So.
And it's like 1 through fucking 22 that play good. Like the way he could just play them in all different. You know what I'm saying? It's just his plays, it's his confidence he gives them. Like even Aaron Holiday's been so good, and he came halfway through the season. He's getting burned. He's probably gonna be a great player in the playoffs for them. Just coming off the bench.
I doubt he gets playoff burn.
But
shout out to James Jones. For him being there in such a short period of time, he put together a great roster.
Real quick, so based on the stuff that I'm reading, it looks like he just wanted a break from basketball.
So it's pretty much his personal reasons, though.
Yeah, but it was kind of like a mental health break.
Like some Kyrie shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because it says he said he needed time away after a decade of playing basketball nearly without pause.
Damn.
Yeah.
I guess he could do that too because his team sucked anyway. But we're moving on to personal awards, to Deep 3 exclusives. Biggest disappointment of the year. I didn't discuss this with you. I did a top 3. Did you go based off players or teams?
So I was gonna go teams, but then I saw that we were talking about players for the awards and stuff. So
I went teams. That's the big. That was the problem.
Yeah, both of us went with like teams for.
If we're going teams, I can name one off the top of my head.
Because the last one I put in there, biggest disappointment of the. Well, I mean, like the players that take a step back, like that's kind of like the same thing. But biggest disappointment teams, I'll go first this one since you guys have time to think about it. Yeah. So disappointing in this order, from 3 to 1. I went Knicks third. We expect them to at least be in the play-in this season. Hawks second. I think they were arguably first. But the Lakers had such a bad season.
The Lakers,
had to be number 1 most disappointed teams in the season. The Hawks got lucky that the Lakers had as bad a season because they would have been number 1.
Yeah,
I had them finish, I think, 3rd or 4th on the standings this season. They're in the play-in now. But the Lakers, they were the betting favorites to win the Western Conference, and they don't even make the playoffs.
And
you get LeBron for 50-plus games. I think Russ played majority of the season. AD missed a lot of time, but just from start to finish, it just never clicked. At all. And you had a down season from Russ, a down season from AD, like an all-time great scoring season from LeBron. Like when he played, he was just scoring so efficiently, but doing nothing else. Like he wasn't playing no defense. Like he just knew his team sucked.
Yeah, it just seemed like he was chasing that that ghost of Kareem.
Yeah, he checked out. He's like, I'm done chasing the ghost of Chicago.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I gotta agree though. Like my top 3 is probably the same exact thing as yours, because the hype that the Knicks had coming into the season was crazy.
Because they had a good offseason though. Like honestly, adding Fournier and Kemba Walker were like the 2 things were like they were short ball handlers and shooters, and they had 2 guys that could do both of that.
And you know what's something that's not being talked about that much? They missed Reggie Bullock this season.
A lot. I have heard people talk about that, but they missed him a lot. Like that was that exactly.
Yeah.
Alfred Payton too, because he played great defense last season.
A lot of energy. That's what it really was. Energy shooting. He was shooting.
Yeah, he was their best shooter, and he
Yeah.
was lights out last season. Like
Yeah.
he was
So-
lights out.
Let me ask you something. So we know pretty much what the reason is for the Knicks not living up to the hype because they're the Knicks. It happens. They're a big market, and this is not the first time that the players have folded due to the pressure. So we already know that. But for the Hawks, what do you think was the reason that they didn't bounce
I think
back?
it's
Well,
I
they
think
got
it's similar to the
overconfident.
Knicks. I
And
think
then
it's similar
teams
to the
started
Knicks.
beating them. Teams
Yeah, I think
started
it's
beating
similar.
their scheme, and not even before that, they started off the season. If you go back to that season, they started off really slow. The first season, they fired their coach halfway through the season. What's his name comes in?
Nate
what's his name?
McMillan, he's their coach now. They're
Nick
going a crazy
McMillan, yeah,
run.
he came in halfway through the season, went on a streak, got that spot. You know what I'm saying? In the playoffs, boom. You know what I'm saying, going on a crazy ass stretch, go and beat Philly in the first seed that year to surprise them at home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not
they
even that.
pushed
They
Milwaukee
faced
to
the Knicks
6.
too. Yeah, and then they pushed Milwaukee to 6, which was a great series too. With Trae Young was going down, with Giannis being down too. You know what I'm saying? It was a great series, but teams started reading them. That's what I really think it is, and they got overconfident. I think for the Knicks, it's just they're obviously kind of the same thing. The teams obviously started knowing what they're running. They knew Randall how to stop him, force him to shoot more off ball, off dribble shots and stuff like that. And you seen it in the playoffs. So and they were young. They're young team, so you seen it. So they were definitely a big disappointment this year. The Knicks.
I think
But for
I
me,
think they're
I have
both.
for the three though, I have Knicks slash Jazz because they had to make it like somehow.
Jazz?
Hold on. I want to talk about the Hawks. I have a reason why they
They're
had a bad
honestly
season. Though.
they're a disappointment. I don't want to hear it. They're a disappointment.
They are. The Jazz do deserve to be
They're a
on that list.
disappointment, and I think they just somehow deserve to be on the list
I
because
feel like they
how
finished
bad they
right where I expected them to.
No,
Like,
I had
Nine.
me personally, but I had the Jazz going to the
go
finals.
to the finals, and not even. I was just gonna say
Nah,
that.
see, I never expected them
We
to go
had
to the
them all
finals.
top three. Like we all had them. Even that we had them as the deepest. Second, I think they were top three. When we did the deepest squad before.
Yeah,
the
like
season
best,
started, we
like
had them up
full
there.
rosters and shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were high.
Mhm.
They were like
They-
top 6 or
they
top
were a
7
good
of
team.
like in the power rankings too.
The other good team, I don't know. Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. There's something going on that we don't know. Locker room, like this locker room.
Oh no, we
situation
know.
for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Like this locker room
Yeah,
situation is like
we
affecting
definitely
them.
know.
They're gonna have to trade somebody because if you don't trade Rudy Gobert, if you don't try to at least keep Donovan Mitchell, move with him, why would you saying like it makes no sense with them trying to move to the future and move with Rudy Gobert because the guard's gonna last longer and you're gonna need the guard. They're more important, honestly. You could
I don't
pick up a
agree.
guard. He's
I feel like centers last
overrated
longer.
too. Once and again, he's overrated as fuck.
You keep saying he's overrated, but they're better when he's on the court and Donovan Mitchell's
Overrated
off.
as fuck.
And that's a fact.
Overrated.
That's a fact.
as
If
fuck.
I'm them, I'm choosing Rudy Gobert over Donovan Mitchell. They're gonna get
Really?
a better package in return, and I feel like it's easier to find a
Obviously they will.
high volume guard, a high scoring guard like that. I feel like it'll be easier for him to find.
You will, but
than
that's the
Rudy
situation
Gobert,
that's gonna
who's
happen.
like a once in a lifetime generational rim protector, who's one of the best rim protectors that's ever graced the basketball court.
Think about it.
Straight like
That's
that.
actually gonna happen though. Because why does he even want to be in Utah? That's the best situation that he could have.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell don't even want to be there.
But he's
Gobert
not.
don't
yeah,
care,
But you can't act
He's
like the
gone.
whole shit is his fault though, because
It's
Donovan
true.
Mitchell adds to that. He's been terrible in fourth quarters this season. If he's he's been the worst defender in the NBA this season.
What about the
for
other
a
seasons in
fact.
the playoffs? When it comes down to the
He's
playoffs, the same
Great
thing
in the,
happens.
he's
every
been
game.
great in the playoffs, and
The same
and
thing
that's
happens.
just not changing nothing.
The same thing happens. They call out each other after. Wait, first of all, Rudy Gobert says, "Oh, they can't play defense," and then this guy says,
Is
the
he
same thing
lying
happens
though?
every time, and the same shit happens every time because they're right. They switch on to him. He's the defensive player of the year, and he can't defend. What the
Yo,
fuck you need help for? If you're
He can't
defensive player of
defend,
the year?
but Donovan Mitchell literally gets dropped off every
Like
time
I
he plays.
said, he's the most
There's a reason.
player
Rudy Gobert is a
switched on
rim
and most
protector.
icon player in the Utah Jazz, and it's for a
Because
reason.
oh my god, there's
It's for a
nobody.
reason.
He has no perimeter defenders. You put him on a team.
It's for a reason.
Watch. He's gonna leave the Jazz, and everybody's gonna start seeing that he's the reason why that team was a playoff team these last couple of seasons. He's a walking.
You think he's gonna be like Kemba? Like
So
as
you're
soon as
telling me you
Kemba
could win a
left that
championship with Rudy Gobert?
left that
That's what you're telling me.
organization.
If he's on your team, yes. You're not gonna
No,
win a
no, no, no,
championship.
no.
You're not gonna if he's your starting
Fine.
center, yes, you're winning a
Fine.
championship.
Can we all agree? At that moment, that means you're moving with Rudy Gobert to be your number one option guy.
No, that's not what I never. That's never what I
No,
said. That's not what I
but that's
said.
what it is, though. Let's keep it realistic. That's what you're making is. That's what's gonna
So,
be.
could you win a championship
Either
with
one of
Donovan
those
Mitchell as
guys
your
are gonna
number
be
one
the next
option?
moving piece in the future. You're gonna try to build around, right or wrong.
Can you
Either one
win
of
a
those guys.
championship with Donovan Mitchell as your number one option?
No, you cannot win with Rudy Gobert on your team straight up.
What
You're not
can
gonna
you?
win.
No, but
Okay, that's not what I'm. He's ignoring the question. Can you win a championship with Donovan Mitchell as your number one option?
Yes, you can, and that's a
Okay,
fact.
we can move on from that. Yo,
We've
there's a
seen in the
but
playoffs. He went
Nico, are you
crazy.
gonna ignore the fact that the only guy they've had on that team to play defense was Royce O'Neal, and he was a 6'5" power forward who can only.
He hasn't been a problem defending. He has not been a bad defender other than
Who
Jamal
Donovan
Murray.
Mitchell?
Yes, other than Jamal Murray, he's
But
been
he's been an
only guy.
awful defender.
Not
But
in the
just what
playoffs.
you're gonna see in the playoffs, he's gonna get attacked.
No,
Watch,
it's
okay,
not.
you're gonna
No,
see.
it's not.
Watch,
It's gonna be Rudy Gobert in this every single time.
because his
It has
coach
to
makes
last
zero
this
adjustments.
season.
We're not gonna, but we just talked about this. We just is your first team the Lakers for most disappointing?
Yeah.
Okay, and I didn't get this point off because you cut me off. I want to throw it out there. The reason why the Hawks and the Knicks disappointed because like how you believe that teams, which they did, they benefited from the break during the bubble. The Knicks and the Hawks had that entire time off. They did not go to bubble. They didn't travel. They stood there. They were able to work on their games. They came in fresh. The teams and then plenty of teams that were in the playoffs disappointed last season. Celtics got off. They were in the play-in. Heat was a 6 seed. Pacers didn't make the playoffs.
Lakers.
Raptors didn't make. No, I'm talking about just the Eastern Conference.
Oh, okay.
You had the Heat, the Celtics, the Pacers, and the Raptors. All those teams disappointed. They shit the bed last season. They weren't the same team. Even the Magic, who are a perennial playoff team, they made the playoffs last season. Well, that season they weren't there either. So I think they just benefited from that. That's me personally. But we can move on to what's the next one? Biggest surprise of the year. These are teams.
And this is also teams.
Yes.
Yeah. Then the next two are the players. So
yeah, I'll go first. I'm gonna go from 3 to 1. I had Timberwolves 3. I think they had a great season, especially with how top heavy the West is. They would have been a playoff, a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. They had a great year on both offense and defense. Shout out to Cat. Second, I had the Cleveland Cavaliers. They would have been first if they maintained their spot, but they just fell off completely as the season ended.
That's that Jared Allen effect.
He missed the last. They were already hitting that drought. No,
exactly. They've been hit that. You know when they hit that shit when Darius Garland got injured.
He's been out since early March.
They were winning without him. He can't really say that. When he came back here. You can't really say that happened.
Well, who's been out since early March? Is that what you're asking?
After All-Star, you guys hear me?
We hear you now. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We hear you.
Are you good?
Yo, talk.
I don't think he sees us or hears us.
Anyway, I think they were. I think it was a total of everything. They had Garland miss significant time, Allen miss significant time, and Mobley miss significant time. Yeah, we heard.
We hear you. We heard you the whole time. You just stopped talking.
Yeah, I was cut out the whole. I couldn't hear you on my screen. I couldn't hear you guys. It was
like we're like talk. You're just like.
Yeah, nah, but like I don't know, bro. You're crazy.
Oh my god!
I'm crazy for having them second. I'm crazy for having them second, please.
No, it was not about you were saying before cut out.
Yeah, I think they hit a big drought when Garland wasn't there.
Yeah, like I think it was right after All-Star break, but it was like as a team in general. Obviously, Garland was doing his thing, but as a team in general, they couldn't just get nothing going.
They missed Ricky Rubio a lot after he left.
But around you cannot deny that Rondo's been a great pickup for.
He's not been that good.
Not as good.
He's not been that good.
He's more. If you took him as a vet, he's a leader. He goes in there. He gives them assist playmaking. I don't know. I see.
He's doing the playmaking that Rubio had.
Way more better
scoring,
version. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. I think you could see a little bit more in the playoffs. Him, Kevin Love being in the lineup. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. Taha.
He's just not. He's not a threat to
Wouldn't be
score the ball.
surprised if they win.
That's the difference. That's the difference between him and Rubio. Was a threat to score this season. He started the season. He had a great start to the season.
He was.
And that's just the biggest thing. Like Rondo's just a smart player. Great. He could set up an offense, but he's just not a threat to score anymore. So it's like guys aren't gonna respect him as it is. So it's harder to be as good as a playmaker as he was because he's just not a threat to score anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why guys like Harden and Chris Paul and these other and Luca, like they're just so like their assist numbers are so high because they're such a threat to score. Like so, it's so much easier for them. The court is just way more spaced out. Rondo, it's like nobody's even giving a fuck about him. They're 3-4 feet backed up behind the 3-point line. But first, I'm going with Toronto. I was higher than before the season, but I did not see them being a 5th seed, and I didn't see them winning the first round either. That's what they're gonna do.
I have the same list too. You know how we. I mean, all these teams we low-key been talking about them all season. Well, I've been talking about the Timberwolves. Me and Tyler low-key. I even called it before the season. They were gonna be a good team.
I never really was a fan of the Timberwolves. But...
You know what I'm saying? Miguel told me it was crazy. They're above 500 by positive like 11.
They're like 13 games above 500. This like I think it said it was their 5th best season of all time.
And they're playing
so crazy.
That's not that. It's only 46 wins.
And they're in the playing tournament.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's wild. I think I don't know. It's gonna be tough. Clippers. It's gonna be tough because now with the Clippers have PG, but they should be the favorites. I think Cat has been playing at a great level. I wouldn't be surprised if Timberwolves win.
But who did you have? You had the Raptors first too.
Yeah, I had the Raptors. Like, of course.
I think we all had the Raptors first.
They got the Rookie of the Year. Like, come on. Like, what?
We didn't even talk about Rookie of the Year. That's crazy. We skipped right over that award.
Yeah,
we'll do that one after this.
The same top 3. I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I feel like we all have a similar top 3 for these 2 categories that we just did because, for biggest, because they're pretty obvious for both biggest surprise and biggest disappointments, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But who was your 3rd place team?
Me.
Both of you.
I told you Timberwolves.
So you had Timberwolves, and then you had the Cavs too, or no?
Cavs. Yeah, I had Cavs second,
yeah,
and then
Cavs
I had.
I thought you had a different order, right?
Yeah, that's
no. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm fucking. I do have the Wolves at 2 and Cavs 3.
And then the Cavs 3. Yeah, you can go either or. It's the same shit. But we have to get back to it. What do you even do? We're gonna go Rookie of the Year. Taha, you could start us off on this one. Go from 3 to 1.
All right, from 3 to 1. So 3rd, I'm gonna go with Cade Cunningham. He started off the season a little slow, and then he picked it up over time. Now he's starting to really find his groove at the end of the season. Honestly, I didn't want to believe it at first, but as soon as Jeremy Grant got hurt, he started going crazy. So
I was on that boat all season long.
No cat.
I used to text Taha.
I don't want to hear that because he came back. And then he closed out the season even better. So I want to hear that.
He did.
No. Because by the time Jeremy Grant came back,
he got into a rhythm.
Because by the time Jeremy Grant got back, the whole system was built around Cade. Now, when the season started, the system was built around Jeremy Grant, and Cade was facilitating.
You can't say because Grant's still doing his thing out there. He's still trying.
Bro, look at Jeremy Grant's stats per game from the beginning of the season up to his injury, and then look at his stats from when he came back till they shut him down. It's a tale of 2 seasons, bro.
Yeah, but it's not. He's still averaging like 18 something. I see him.
Yeah, he only finished the season averaging that much because he was scoring so much at the start of the season.
Against him playing even good. He had a couple.
I'm not saying he was playing bad, but he was definitely not playing as. He was definitely not playing as good as before.
I think the Pistons became a better team. And I'm not just saying because of Grant, but they became a better second half team.
Yeah,
If you
they
look at
did.
the record, there's
And
way better. I
and
think
it
they
was
got most
because
of the wins off the second.
they
Because how
stopped
high
Yeah,
did
they
they?
stopped playing a lot of the veterans, or not stopped playing, but
What
they
really?
give the young guys
They
more
I
just
think
reps.
figured.
it's
They just figured it out. They just
I
figured out
think it's
what was the problem, and they were starting to actually look good defensively. They're a great defensive team, like underrated. I think, to be honest with you, just like how they're
Hmm.
actually really pretty good. And I don't know, I might be just the only one that sees it,
nah.
but
They're a great defensive team, especially for a young team.
I think their offensive is their problem. But they're starting to figure it out. Cade's starting to figure it out. He was obviously inefficient. That's why he was a number three in mine. He started off really inefficient. He missed the start of it. Obviously, can't really take that to accountability because they're really close to game plays at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't
I
know.
think I want to say something. I think like a big part of their season like ending better than it started. Grant had definitely had to do with that. You got more talent on the court, but Sadiq Bey's progression over the season too, him and Killian Hayes, because Killian Hayes
Hmm.
ended the season well. So I think both of them just
Yeah,
got better throughout the year, and they started
right.
giving minutes to. I think his name is Austin Livers. He had a really good end of the season too. I think that's his name, but he was playing really well
Austin
for them.
Rivers' brother.
Right.
Livers,
Oh,
livers. Don't disrespect that man.
what?
Livers.
What do you
I
mean? Number
don't
just tried
know.
to triple double. You just gassing
But
him
yeah,
right before
do we all have
the
Kate
season
at three?
started.
No,
Okay, Nico does, right?
yeah, I'm guessing. And then the real question is, Tyler, who do you have second?
Second, I got Scotty Barnes.
That's wild.
Oof.
I
We all got different
because
lists. That I like that.
Yeah,
I
we
like
do.
that.
Yeah, because second I got Scotty Barnes because like he came in expecting to be a lot of people expect him to be a bust, to be honest. Like I saw a lot of chatter about him being a bust, about how the Raptors messed up. They should have gotten Jalen Suggs because Kyle Lowry's not there no more. But including us. I remember during the
We
draft,
did.
we were tight that they didn't pick Jalen Suggs. So
Nico was right on that one.
yeah,
I give him his
so
props.
yeah, he definitely
I
gave his gave us a
told you that motherfucker
what's
was
the
gonna
word? He
be
made us bite
shit.
our words pretty much.
We can't,
So
but don't act like we were all high on Scotty Barnes though for this draft. We all
we we
liked him.
were we were, but it's just the fact that
But me
Toronto
and
was
Ty
so
had Jalen Suggs going fourth though.
yeah, it was just the fact that Toronto had so many forwards and they had
What did
just
you guys
gotten
have
Thaddeus
Scotty going?
or no, they didn't get
What?
Thaddeus Young yet, did
What
they?
did you guys have Scotty Barnes going?
I had Scotty Barnes going
I
fifth
think
to
I,
OKC.
to the
no,
Magic,
I think
didn't
I
you
had
guys?
him
I
I
could
think
see
I
one
think
of you
I
guys
had him going
doing
to the Magic.
I think
I
I had
think I
him
had him going to
fifth,
the Magic.
or I had him going sixth to the Thunder.
I had him fifth because I had Kaminga. I had Kaminga going to
Yeah,
the
you
I
had
had Kuminga
Kaminga going to
going to
Toronto. That
no,
was
I had him
high as
going
yeah.
hell. I
And
forgot
then
about that shit.
I had him going to Golden State.
I know I had fifth Scotty because I knew Jalen Suggs was gonna go to you know.
I had Davion Mitchell going to OKC. But yeah, no, that so my second, I'm gonna put Scotty Barnes because he
I,
did better than I expected him to.
why did you have Mobley one though?
I don't have Mobley one. I got Jalen Green number one.
You lying?
Stop.
I'm about to say you lying. I already knew you was
There's
lying.
no way. You see my face like there's no way.
Nico's
Nah,
about to leave.
cause I feel like Mobley is another guy that is on a team that wasn't expected to do great. And obviously towards the end of the season they kind of came back down to earth, but that's because of injuries and stuff. When healthy, the Cavs could be a problem for the bigger teams in the East. But they they had Evan Mobley, they had Jared Allen, Kevin Love, Larry Markin, and it was mainly the fact that they had so many bigs on that team that I expected it to kind of be like a butting of heads kind of thing. Like somebody was going to end up not seeing their full potential. Especially since they also had Isaac Okoro on the team, and they were trying out Colin Sexton at the small forward a little bit in the beginning of the season. So it was kind of a mix of all those things that made me pick Evan Mobley because he saw some great numbers and his on the court presence has been pretty good. And the Cavs were successful when they were healthy, and he was a big part of that. So that's mainly why I put him first.
I can't agree. I can't disagree with what you said. Nico, I'm gonna go last. You could go next.
So obviously I have Cade. You know what I'm saying, probably kind of the most. I already said my reasoning because of inefficient. Obviously, like he had a great second end of the year. It was close to Mobley. Like he was right there beating Mobley. Obviously, I've been saying all year, Scotty Barnes, my number one. Mobley two. I just said it. Mobley been great defensive. He's I don't know. He's close to making first all team. Like he had a great defensive year. He's close. Like he had a great year. He was a great part of what the Cavs were um a success this season. You know what I'm saying?
He allowed
Obviously,
them to play three bigs.
because you know what I'm saying, they were close, yeah. And this is something you don't see. You don't see this in the NBA a lot. They're probably one of the onlys, or it's probably was another team that runs that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. There's no other team that runs like
Mhm.
Like the
too big.
second biggest team in the league is probably like Milwaukee.
Grizzlies, but Grizzlies because Jaron Jackson, and Steven Adams is kind of big.
Yeah, but you're talking about
They're a
three
rebounding
bigs.
team. They're a great
Yeah.
rebound. They're a great rebounding team. They're probably the number
The
one.
closest thing to what the Cavs were running at the beginning of the season is when Milwaukee runs out Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, and Giannis. And they've done
Yeah.
that a little bit, but that's barely.
No, I think both Milwaukee and Cleveland are bigger teams than Memphis. Because Nico just named Jaron Jackson Jr., who's not even 7 foot, and then Steven Adams, who
Jared
is
Jackson
either
is like
barely
6'11", though. He's damn near. That's pretty
He's
much
6'10".
7 foot. But it depends how many minutes that they run with those two guys and Colin. Like that's the closest thing they're gonna get to that is when they put Kyle Anderson at the 3, and that's the spacing just gets fucked up. But yeah, like they had a great start to the season. You can't go wrong with that.
Right. So for your top 3, Nico, is it similar to mine?
He had the same one as you, except he had Scotty Barnes 1. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Barnes.
have Mobley 1. I have Scotty Barnes number 1. I've been saying all season he's been my rookie reason just because of minutes and all that stuff, and he's been playing good. He's been a great part of that.
All right, so I'm gonna give mine. I had Evan Mobley 3rd. I think he had a great season defensively. He was one of the best defenders in the league. But I just think the offensive impact was nowhere near the two guys I have 1 and 2. Like I think that was pretty noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
At 2, I have Scotty Barnes. Listen, I'm just gonna say why I have Cade number 1. Because Scotty Barnes had a great season. I think that Cade was the best rookie this season. He wasn't on the best team. He had the least amount of talent.
Crazy? I just want to say something before you say that.
Go ahead.
You had that boy going to the playoffs, and the other rookie actually made it. The actual rookie there. That's all I'm saying before you give me because I didn't finish.
Is he the 4th best player on his team?
Who?
Scotty Barnes? He's like the 3rd or 4th best player on his team.
Yeah, he is.
He's 3rd. Straight up, he's 3rd. I'm going Pascal Van Vliet, Scotty. Who else? Come on, he's been a great part. Who else?
I don't know, man.
Gary Trent Jr. and OG Anunoby are borderline better than him.
He's a great ball handler. He could play.
I have him 2nd for a reason. I think he had a great season.
Other than who else? He probably guards most of the times the best offensive player on the other team most of the time.
He does. He's a great defender. He's a great two-way player.
And shooting wise, he's been a great corner shooter. Like that's something they said he couldn't. They said his scouting report coming right before the draft. They said he couldn't shoot. Like, come on, bro. There's no reason that guy makes it over Scotty.
Can I explain why I have him over Scotty Barnes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Damn, I have Scotty Barnes too. I'm not disrespecting the kid. I just think the guy that went number 1 in the draft last year, the guy that was the only option on his team to dribble, play, make, do anything. He came into the league and immediately was asked to be the number 1 option, seeing double, triple teams every single night. He's been the best closer out of any of the rookies this season. And you know that for a fact, Nico. You see him close games out. And he closed the game out against Toronto while Scotty Barnes was guarding him. That's a fact. We can bring up receipts. My boy, last 50, he started off slow. He had no training camp. He had no preseason. He had no summer league. My boy came in injured. He started off slow. It happens to all of them. And then last 50 games, he averaged, oh my God, don't even have it. But for the season, he's at 17, 5-5, the best playmaker as a rookie, even a better playmaker than Josh Giddey. And I think You put him
Shit,
on
I
the.
don't know, man. Josh Giddey averaged like 7 to 8 assists.
That's fine. He had better teammates than my boy did too.
Who?
Josh Giddey.
You think
Shut
Josh
the
Giddey had better
fuck
teammates
up!
than Kate
No,
Cunningham? I was about to say you're
Nah,
wilding.
I still think he's the best playmaker. As a true
Nah.
playmaker, he's a better playmaker than
Sure,
Scotty.
sure.
I can say Josh Giddey's a more flashy passer, and like he's more of a LaMelo Ball. And I think Kate Cunningham is more of a like a Luca. That's really how I see
I'm
it.
talking about the team. You're telling me that OKC has a
Okay,
better team.
Okay, I'm gassing on that one. That one I'm just stretching. I'll keep it a stack. But I just
it's really near. It's like kind of the same level.
All in all, we got the same top three. It's just about the placement.
Yeah, I just have one more point I want to say about Kate Cunningham, and you guys are not going to be able to disagree with this.
Go ahead.
You put him in Scotty Barnes' position. You put him on the Raptors, and I think the Raptors are a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference.
Oh my god, bro!
That is the exact player they're missing on everything. Kate Cunningham came in and he was a great on-ball defender, all rip, and he's guarding point guards, point of attack. You can't.
How about this?
Am I lying about that one?
How about this? I bet you $100 right now that next year the Raptors make it a farther seed than the Pistons, and the Pistons are gonna get a good draft pick, and they're gonna trade.
Yo, he's playing with somebody that's gonna make all NBA teams this season.
Trade Jeremy Grant and all of this. They might have a good team. How about that?
Why would I bet that the Pistons? No shit, the Raptors are gonna be better than the Pistons next year. He's playing with way more talent than
Scotty Barnes is gonna be way better next year.
Oh my god, what does he do better than Cade?
I don't know. Playmakers is
nothing. Exactly, bro. Move on.
Playmakers is kind of the same level. He's a great
scorer. It's not the same level. You know it's not.
He's a way better.
It's not at the same level.
He's a way better defender.
Way better? You're stretching. He's a way better defender than him.
He plays 1 through 5. Can Scotty Barnes play? I mean,
Kate Cunningham's a point guard. You're not asking your point guard to go 1 through 5.
No, Miguel, you've gone on record saying Kate could play 1 through 5.
No, I never said that. I said he could play 1 through 3. I never said he could play power forward. I never said that, bro. Why are you putting words in my mouth?
Now, when before the draft, you did say that. I remember that because I agreed with you.
I do not think he could guard 1 through 5. That would just be absurd if I said that. And if I did, I must have been drunk.
You were, because you was delusional right before that. You were said they was going to go to the playoffs the first season.
But I walked that. Yo, you know what's crazy?
That they're gonna after that JJ Redick podcast.
Yo, you guys are gonna ignore the fact that I walked it back before the season started because the East just got crazy.
I
walked it back, bro.
You still hold me accountable for the shit I said against the Cavs sometimes.
But you didn't walk it back before the season. That was your preseason prediction.
It was, and then I
can pull up my standings right now, but I still have them.
And in the second week, I was already walking back.
That's fine. You just gotta give my boy respect. Was he the best rookie? Yes or no?
Cade?
Was he the best rookie on the court? Was he the best player as a rookie?
Individually, yeah.
Exactly.
Scotty Barnes.
That's what I want to do. Individually, you think Scotty Barnes is the best rookie this season?
I truly believe Scotty.
I truly believe you're being biased. But we can move on to bounce back season of the year. These players.
This is player, right?
Yes, these players had a bounce back year. They had a slight decrease or whatever, however you want to consider it. And they came back and they showed why they're that guy.
Can I go first on this one?
Yeah, I was going to tell you. Nico, go first. Take it away.
I was excited for this one. Just because, you know what I'm saying? I called it right before the season, but it wasn't. I'm going to start from 3-1. Kevin Love, I think got to be number 3. Like last year, bro, I was just saying even before for like 6 months of the year, he was a guy who got kicked off the USA team. They were saying he was lazy, wasn't even supposed to be in this and that.
I forgot about that shit, bro. I forgot he got kicked off.
He didn't play last season. He had a lot of. They were saying he was a bad leader, this and that. You see, even Miguel used to say there was a bunch of. He used to show me clips of him, just like him giving up. And he's a different guy this year. He's been so good. He was our candidate for a 6th man of the year. He's been so good for them. So he deserves to be up there. And then number 2, the guy I was talking about all season, called him before the season, him being healthy. You know what I'm saying? He was gonna be great. They ended up trading him though. I went with Porzingis. Number 2.
Okay.
He had a great year. You know, he's my guy. And then number 1, the guy from the Raptors. Pascal.
Say his name. Give him respect. Give him his respect, bro.
No, bro, I was
Give him
giving.
his respect. No, you don't, bro.
Bro,
You
what?
now you're gonna hop on a bandwagon
bro,
right now, but now you're gonna hop on it.
That's
But
cap.
I've been on it. I've been on it for
That's
years.
cap.
I
That's
never
cap. You used
gave
to
up on
talk
my
shit about
man,
him,
bro.
like, oh,
You
he
guys
can't
used to
get
call him
up
a
in the playoffs.
Beyblade.
Yo,
Y'all used to call him a
God,
Beyblade.
what? Yeah, last season he was a
Who?
Beyblade.
Oh.
He had a
Okay.
bad last
Y'all used to
season.
call him.
That's why he had-
Y'all used to call him a
Bro,
Beyblade,
you
bro. A
cannot deny he had a
helicopter.
bad last season.
But
The
You
spin
cannot deny. That's
cycle.
why he.
I don't
That's why
give
he's
up on a
number
guy
one.
off of one bad year.
Okay, but Ty, he forgot what we're doing. Number one, bounce back from last season. Obviously, he had a bad
Bounce
season,
back,
so we
yeah,
called him out
yeah.
for him.
I'm not.
His
No,
last
I'm
season.
just. Yeah, that's fine. He's number one on my list too. He's number one on my list too. He had a down year last year. I could respect it.
I didn't put him.
His
in
father
my
passed
top
away.
three.
Like my boy.
Yeah,
My boy
you're
was going
drunk for
through it.
that. You're drunk. You had to be number one.
I didn't put him on my top three because I knew y'all was gonna put him in your top three.
You ain't. That's not why you put him on, because you
What?
was asleep. Just wake up, bro. Wake up. Just know my boys make All NBA this year.
Nah, I knew you guys were gonna put him in your
He's
top
supposed
three.
to.
So I thought that
You
I would
can.
mention some people that I knew that you guys weren't gonna mention.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so at number 3, you already know I'm gonna go with my guy, one of my favorite players in the league. Last season, Luke Walton had him rotting on the bench in Sacramento. This year, he's a solid backup in Utah. My man Hassan Whiteside, he bounced back.
He had a good season. He had a good season.
He had
bounced back.
But you know, I do like him. Like for second, like center, that's his role right now. He's coming off.
He's Andre Drummond.
He's Andre Drummond role. So for that, I mean, yeah, he did. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
they're bad. You know, I mean they've been bad. They're like disappointing, but
He had a decent season. Who do you have second?
Second, I had Spencer Dinwiddie, and this
That's a
one
shocker.
is pretty obvious. I mean, he did get injured like how many games into last season? Like 3-4 games into last season, but those 3-4 games that he just did not play well next to Kyrie and KD. He was so bad. Like that was some of the worst basketball I've ever seen from him. And he came back on the Wizards. He was playing good. The Wizards started off the season really good.
That shit was
And
even
then-
worse on the Wizards.
Nah, it got
wasn't
worse
his fault
later
though.
on.
He was playing. I feel like he was doing decent enough.
Yeah,
He
was
was
just-
bad.
he's
He was
just-
bad on the Wizards.
He's
bro.
just a vocal player, so
he
he
was
didn't really
close to
mesh
making
well
my
with the
list.
locker room.
He was really
But then
close
he
to
goes
making
to
my list.
Dallas and starts killing it in Dallas. He reunites with Theo Pinson and Jared Dudley in Dallas, and then he's found a home there now. So, you know, that's somebody that I had to put number 2. And then number 1, I have to put DeMar DeRozan. I mean, last season he was in San Antonio.
That's not cute though.
I don't even
That's not cute though.
Yo, I did it. That's why I said I thought he's been good in San Antonio.
was
Nobody
balling.
was just
I think
nobody
that's
was just
probably
watching
his
his
best
games.
season.
Nobody was just watching his games.
I think
Nah,
that's
But nah, I
probably-
get it.
I think
But
that's
hold
probably
on.
his best season.
Nah, this
Nah.
was his best season.
This
No, I'm
was his
talking about
best
in-
season.
No, best season in San Antonio.
Oh, like he was at his best, like at the
Like,
best of his career.
Yeah, his best career.
Nah, I
think because
disagree.
He knew
His
he was
his
about
first
to-
year, his first year in San Antonio, he had the most assists, he had the most rebounds, he had the most points, he had the most steals, he had the most blocks. His first season in San Antonio was his best season in San Antonio. If you take his 3 years in San Antonio, he had the most
What did he
points,
average last
steals,
season? I could've
rebounds,
sworn he still
blocks,
averaged 25,
assists
though.
in that
I
first
think
season.
I think he had a good season last year.
I'm not saying he had a bad season.
Yeah.
Well, compared to his other season, he had better seasons in San Antonio. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like each season he had in San Antonio, his stats got lower and lower. You know, I'm not saying that he was bad, but he was not as good as he was before. Then he goes to Chicago. He puts up a career high in points. He puts up better rebounds than he put up last year. He went down in assists, maintained his steals, went up in blocks. He increased his 3-point percentage by 10%, which is crazy. He was below 50%, just below 50% last year, and now he's at 50%, a little bit above 50.
Oh,
And-
come on, you stretching it, bro.
And
I'm looking at it
then-
right now. Cuz average, he was at 49. At 49 this year, he's at 50.
Yeah, he went up. He was below 50. Now he's at 50. He's at 50. That's an improvement. And he's also stayed healthier. He's played, I believe, like 15 more games this year than he did last year.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. He stayed healthy, and of course, his team has been more successful. So
Has it? It's like, nah. But nah, he had a great year. You can't go wrong with a DeMar DeRozan pick. I had first I had
By the
Siakam, second
way,
I had
he
Kevin
did
Love.
average 22 points though. I just seen that shit.
This year his
Yeah.
scoring just went up crazy.
27.
crazy.
It's probably the most spacing he's ever played with too. But I had like I said, Siakam 1, Kevin Love 2. Then 3, I went with a homer pick. I went with Tyler Hero 3. I think last year he got a lot of hate after he didn't take the next step after the bubble. His efficiency was down, and now he's waking everybody up. This is the same conversation Hero now.
Yeah, for sure. He was close to making my list. He was really, really close to making.
That was a hard one to put together. Though. I really did not know. Nobody was cutting my mind, so I'm like, fuck, I'll just go with Hero. But we can move on.
Fair.
We have one more left.
Biggest decline.
Yeah, biggest decline.
I wanna hear everybody's before I have to go soon because I have to go eat soon because Ramadan, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go from 3 to 1.
Bet.
At 3, I have James Harden.
Really?
Yes, at 3. I think
just 3.
Yeah, just 3. The two guys in front of him had a bigger decline from last year.
Oh, okay.
I think he had I think he was playing really good with Brooklyn, especially last season.
Mm-hmm.
Then this season, he just from the beginning to now, like he's just been so up and down, so inconsistent. This is the most inefficient he's ever been in his career. He's at like 32% from threes, at 41% from the field. He's only averaging 22 a game. The turnovers are still like high as ever. I think he's hitting a wall. At 2, I have Russell Westbrook. He just had such a terrible season for the Lakers this year. I don't know if it was pressure, spacing wasn't there. Like it was just a terrible fit for him. And you've seen it on the court. Like he was missing layups. He wasn't hitting his pull-up mid-range. 3-pointer has always been brick. And the biggest thing is his free throw percentage has dropped every year in the last 3 years. That's what's crazy. He started off as a low to mid 80s guy, and now he's at like 65%. That's nuts. And at number 1, I have the second best player on the New York Knicks, and that's Julius Randle. The one season wonder.
Oh, okay.
He got a lot of hype last season. He was called better than Pascal Siakam last season.
He's a hater.
He didn't decline from last year.
Yeah.
He did. My boy had an anomaly
year, but he was not supposed to be worse than the other two guys that you named, bro. The other two guys that you named, bro, worse. Come on, you're gassing right now.
No, that's a justifiable top 3, though.
It is. I would have respected if he was 3 for 3, but like, come on. Worse than Westbrook to go with first. Worse than Westbrook.
Because you're going from an All NBA guy to a guy that's not even considered.
I need my list. I'm not even gonna say, but
that was like.
Go ahead, name yours.
Number 1, but I would have respected as number 3. Like I get it, because he was close to making.
Oh, that's true.
Like he was close.
Yeah, I don't know if he was number 1, but
who? You talking about Randle?
Yeah. Like he's definitely top 3 though.
Westbrook went from being he didn't make the All-Star team last year. He didn't make it this year. Like it's not that much of a decline. He wasn't that good in Washington. No, he didn't make it for Washington.
Yeah, there's a triple-double.
Randle went from, but that shit doesn't matter no more. Those are fake stats. Randle goes from being an All NBA player to like not even in consideration for an All-Star team. Like and no injuries, nothing. Like you don't see that happen. But
there is no way, bro.
The floor's yours, Nico.
But look, he's drunk. It's all right, people. He's drunk, sorry. But if anything, he was close to making 3, and he was consideration with James Harden. And I went with James Harden. Reason why? Because it's so bad how inefficient he's just been. And look, in Philly, obviously he just came here. He just got here. He's, you know what I'm saying? He's inefficient. He's probably out of shape. Most likely, we know that he's out of shape, not in basketball shape or in rhythm. You know what I'm saying? But his playmaking is there. Like he's been bad, but he had a big decline. So we'll see what happens next season. Yeah, he had to make my list number 3. Number 2, Westbrook. I want Russell Westbrook. You said it.
I want to know who you have number 1. Now I'm curious.
I know. Someone's gonna surprise that, but I had to. He's just so horrible. Like he's just been so bad this season. It's gonna surprise you, but I don't know. Like, I just might be gassing, but I had to put him number 1. I don't know. I just felt like it. But I went Westbrook because of the pressure and everything. But I was looking at the stats today. Like, he led in a lot of stats for the Lakers, even though he was inefficient.
But he played the most minutes on that team this year.
Yeah, I know, but he still led the Assassins. But you gotta still like I don't know. I felt so bad for him, but I don't know what it is. But I hope. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan. I always was. I just didn't. He had a bad season. You gotta call like you know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
I would never forget where I forgot who they were playing. It was like LeBron 28 points, AD 28 points, Westbrook 8.
Westbrook 2.
One for it was like Westbrook like 8 points, 2
And
for
Malik
10.
Monk had like 30 points.
Yeah, I'm like, why y'all put him up here, bro?
Like just hating.
No, but I feel like people are just using Westbrook as a scapegoat. Yeah, he had a bad season, but he didn't have that bad of a season.
That's what I'm saying. But
He still had the
inefficient,
second most points
inefficient
this
is
season
wrong.
on the Lakers. The first most rebounds on the Lakers. First defensive rebounds, second in offensive rebounds. He had the most steals. He had the most assists. I think he was.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he was first in blocks.
I don't think he's the reason why they were so bad. It was poor roster construction. That's
For
just
sure, and it just makes him bad.
Anthony Davis has not been the same.
Anthony Davis has
not been the same player since the bubble.
He hasn't played in injuries, and he is made out of. He's a stick. He's a walking stick. So his ankles are made out of sticks.
It's made out of glass.
He an icicle. As soon as it get hot, he melts.
So Nico, who do you have number one?
Number one, though, I went with Vuk. He's so bad.
Yo, that's a good one. That's a good one. Biggest disappointment, he would have made it. Vucevic was terrible this
Vuk
season,
is so terrible. Defensive part, it's like so bad. It's so bad though. Like I get it. Like I shit on Rudy Gobert. Like when they try to take him inside, obviously he could block you and stuff. But like anywhere on the court, doesn't matter where you're at. He can't defend. It's like the crazy thing is like he doesn't have no energy either. Like he didn't even put his hands up trying to contest.
If you look at his numbers though, they're virtually the same outside of scoring.
But it's a whole bro. Like you gotta watch. You got to watch him play. You have to watch him play.
It's more impact.
I'm just putting it out there. Like I'm not trying to take away from what you're arguing. I'm just saying like the numbers. If you look at the numbers, the only thing that's gone down is his scoring by a couple points, and his 3-point percentage really went down. Other than that, like it's.
But it's like, bro, they've played him in a drop this year. Like he's a guy that you play him he could only play drop. Like you can't play him at the top of the screen. He's too slow. Nothing. He's only playing a drop. And the motherfucker can't protect the rim.
The drop.
He's still getting and he's still getting dropped off, bro. Like I've watched so many. Like I watched the Heat played against him this season. Dwayne Dedman gave him like 25, bro. Just going at his neck, talking shit in the entire game. I'm like, yo, if Dwayne Dedman's locking you up and dropping you off, bro, you gotta go. Like that shit was bad, bro. No cap. He was awful this season. He's the reason why they declined like that.
And like you know what I'm saying, and they have like a record of what 2-18 against teams over 500 or like, come on, like that shit matters. He's the main reason why, but he's part of it. He has a big.
He's supposed to be their third option. Like Levine and DeMar were consistent all season long on the offensive end, but Vucevic was the most inconsistent player they had.
He was inconsistent. Yeah, he was also inconsistent.
So, Ty, who do you have in your top three? I know who you have number one.
Yeah, you already know who I have number one. But the other two, I got two Knicks on there. So third, I got Julius Randle. Clearly, I mean, he went from being an All NBA player, All-Star player, making his team like the fourth seed into the playoffs, and all the way now, and they're not even in the play-in, and he's pretty much 1 foot out the door. So that's number three. Number two, I have Kemba Walker. So you look at Kemba Walker. You look at Kemba Walker's stats from last year.
Horrible. Bad.
Yeah, like he went from being great to good to decent to garbage in a matter of like 16 months.
Yo, he has not been the same since he was injured going into All-Star weekend. It was he was with Boston his first year there. But going into All-Star weekend, he was already dealing with a knee injury. And then he played through it on All-Star weekend. He played big minutes in that game. I think he was on the closing five. That was the first year they had that, like where they go to the certain number. And ever since then, my boy has not been the same. No cap. I feel like that's the moment where like his knees were just gave up on him. And you've seen it in the bubble. Like his Like he was just not the same player in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. That's pretty much why I ended up putting him in that top 3, because if you look at it, it's not like all these other players were like they're all getting up there in age. This dude just turned 31. You know?
And he was great on the Hornets, especially that last year. Like I think he made an All-NBA team that year, right? Before he signed with Boston?
Yeah.
I think he made All-NBA
the
third
team.
Yeah,
Yeah, third team.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, yo, there's some wild All-NBA third team selections these last like 10 years, bro. Like you look on Goran Dragic's Basketball Reference, that shit really says All-NBA 13. Like how, bro? How was Goran Dragic an All-NBA guard? This when he was in Phoenix. But
yeah, that year was pretty crazy.
It was being nice. It was handed shit out for free.
That was the year, bro. They won like 48 games,
it was
bro.
handing out free, guys. That's what's going on.
Yeah. I think that was the year that the 8th seed had 49 wins in the West.
God damn, that's wild though. 49.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yo, they missed the playoffs and they had 48 wins that year. Like that's crazy, bro.
That's insane. But yeah, so I had to put Kemba third. Then Kemba second, and then first, obviously, James Harden. It's like he's getting worse and worse by the day. Like you look at his stats last year for Brooklyn, he averaged 25, 11, and 8.5 with 1 steal and a block on 47% field goal percentage. Like that's not bad, right? And then you look at this dude this season for the Nets, he gives you 22.5 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, a steal, and almost a block, right? 33% from the 3-point percentage, 41% from field goal, right? He gets traded to Philly. He goes down in every category except assists. He went up 0.3 in assists. He went up in minutes. He went down in points. He went down in field goal percentage. He went down in 3-point percentage. He went down in rebounds. He went down in steals. He went down in blocks.
What about his turnovers? Did it go up or down?
What happened?
Turnovers per game. Did it go up or down? I'm just curious.
That's a good question. I'm about to tell you that right now. Turnovers. Here we go. So his turnovers.
It probably went down.
No, I'm about to tell you right now.
I feel like he has the ball more on Philly than he did when he was with the Nets.
Of course he does.
I would expect it to go up.
His turnovers actually went down. His turnovers actually went down. He played 32 games for Brooklyn and for Philly each. Or actually, no, I'm bugging. He played 44 for Brooklyn and 21 for Philly. I was looking at his age. Yeah, so he played 44 for Brooklyn and then 21 for Philly. He's averaging 3.4 turnovers in Philly, whereas in Brooklyn he was having 4.8.
God, I feel like damn 4.8. Right? Yeah, yo, that's 4.8. High as hell, bro.
Yeah,
that's high as hell. But he was a high turnover. Yeah, he had. I feel like he has it more on. I feel like he has the ball a lot on Philly. But not.
He does. But it's just a matter of.
He's a main guard. He's a main offense. He's a great.
Yeah.
He's a great playmaker.
Yeah. He creates a lot of their offense.
But yeah, no. If you would have asked me like a year and a half ago, who's gonna have like the biggest decline from like post bubble, James Harden would have been like one of the last players that I would have named.
I think the biggest thing that he's lost is his burst, like his ability to beat guys off the dribble. Like that's where he lost.
Hamstring.
Yeah, the hamstring is like that could be a main part of it. I feel like that's what he's missed the most is being.
I think he's just out of shape. That's why the hamstring comes out.
Also, that he just doesn't care about basketball anymore.
I think you know what I'm saying. His head hasn't been focused with the shit him being in Brooklyn. Meaning he had an off season. He was dealing with a hamstring injury. You know what I'm saying. He wasn't technically happy over there. He wasn't just happy in being in Brooklyn. He just didn't like it. There was something just too much. You know what I'm saying? Too much cameras. There's something about New York. He just didn't like it.
He's not going to be happy after this season, too.
That's what I'm saying. He be lying, bro.
Now, I think he's going to have this offseason.
Hold on. Wait, Nico, hold on. I'm going to let you finish, but real quick, I just want to say that he told KD last summer that he was going to re-sign with Brooklyn before the season started and that he was happy in Brooklyn. He told KD that he was happy in Brooklyn and didn't want to go anywhere 2 days before the trade happened.
But
That's
this
what
is
I'm
the
saying.
same guy that didn't want to say that he wanted to get traded immediately because you know what I'm saying? This guy, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't happy. There was something going on. He wasn't happy with himself. He just didn't want to tell nobody. He took the same shit that Kyrie did. Same shit Kyrie did.
He's just running from adversity. That's all it is. That's
Yes, he
all it
is.
is. He's a
Kyrie's
quitter.
situation was completely different than James
He's
Harden.
just running from adversity.
But
He's just running from adversity. Shit got dark in Houston. What'd he do? He got the first trade request out of there as soon as possible. Shit got dark in Brooklyn. They fall to an 8th or 9th seed. What'd he do? He requests a trade not even a year later from requesting it from Houston. Now
Forcing
he's
his
going.
way into
Now
Brooklyn and
he's going
forcing
to
his way out.
Philly.
he has a better role now. It's a whole different thing. He had a whole different. You cannot deny that he had. Obviously he was the guard, but you have KD that's getting the ball, and he like you just said it yourself. He's getting the ball. He's holding the piece, coming up with the ball every single possession. He has the ball in his hand every single possession. He touches it. Like it's a different
All I'm
role.
saying is you're not winning a championship if James Harden is on your team.
That's fine.
straight how I
Simple.
feel.
I
That's
could agree with
straight
that.
how
I'm
I
not gonna
feel.
come here and be like you're wrong. That's fine. I wasn't a big James Harden fan. Now that I'm watching him, we just look better. You know what I'm saying? Him and B could play. He's halfway through the season. You know what I'm saying? And we're still there's games that we click. You know what I'm saying? We just beat our franchise record for most threes. And then the game before that, the game after that, we
Half of
go
them
beat
threes
the
was from
Raptors.
Seth Curry.
We go.
What game was this against Indiana?
I don't know. It was a game before the Raptors though. I'm not sure. And then the Raptors, then
I'll
we
tell
were
you right now.
shooting lights out too. Like we was in rhythm, but we lost that game.
Pacers, yeah.
But
Shit, I wouldn't be
Harden
surprised.
had a terrible game that game though.
I thought he
no,
played
he
good.
did.
That
He had
game.
8 threes that game.
Yeah, I thought that was the game he
Against
played
the
good.
Pacers? Against the Pacers?
Yeah.
No, you see, you're
No.
talking about the game after.
He
I'm talking
had-
about the game
Or
before.
the game after.
The game before beat Toronto.
The game before Toronto was the game where James Harden had 11 points off 4 for 10 shooting.
But I don't know.
The game
But
after
he
is
hasn't
the
hit
one,
8 threes in a
both
while.
franchise-
the
both
game
franchise
after
records, though.
the game after the Toronto one is they played the Pacers again and he scored 22 on 2 for 9 from 3-point percentage.
But we beat the franchise. Our offense, you know what I'm saying, it's halfway through the season. Obviously, I'm not expecting us to be a championship team, but I think we can still make a run with him halfway through the season. All comes down to half court, and then we can actually play now in the half court. And B's been playing great. He had a great playoff season. Obviously, the team wasn't good. It wasn't enough to get through the first, you know what I'm saying, through the Hawks. And I think with him on the court, it's going to be different. I think it's going to be a whole different situation, scenario.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. His last 6 games of the season, I could show you these last 5 games, and you would think this is Draymond Green numbers.
Oh
No
my
cap.
god.
No cap. I'm about to read you this right now. He scored
I watched the games. It's fine. I know.
12, 13, and 8 on 4 for 10 shooting. 21, 10, and 10 on 4 for 13 shooting. 11, 14, and 3
Yeah,
on 4
he's
for 10 shooting.
inefficient.
13, 15, and 4 on 3 for 12 shooting. That is ridiculous.
Yeah,
he's really
bad.
he's really Draymond Green in a guard's body now.
Yeah, he's inefficient. He's inefficient.
There's a reason why he was on the list, though.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's why he's. Yeah, there's a reason why everybody had him in his list.
Yeah.
Those are all the awards, though. I do want to preview. We took a lot of time on the awards. I do want to preview the play-in tournament. We have 4 games lined up, 7, 8, both sides, 9 and 10. I took some notes down on both of them. We just make our predictions. I got some game notes, some advantages that each team has in the 1-game scenario. Starting off from the Eastern Conference, we have Cavs at Nets for the 7th seed.
Easy.
I broke it down into this. I put offense, defense, rebounding, talent, and coaching. But these are the 5 factors that are most important in a playoff scenario. The Nets have the edge on offense for sure. The Cavs have the edge on defense and on rebounding, I believe. Talent-wise, Nets have all the star power in this game for sure. They have that advantage. And the Cavs, I think, have more size than them, and I would say they have the better coach in this 1-game scenario in this playing game. But I think one place that the Nets have a clear advantage, I think it's crunch time offense and just shooting in general. I think if they control the pace and they play a fast game with them, I think Cavs aren't going to be able to score enough points to hang with them.
Yeah, I agree.
And Brooklyn. In Cleveland.
The Nets haven't lost to the Cavs in Brooklyn in over a year. Like I'm confident in the fact that we could win this game. I feel like Jared Allen not playing is going to play a huge factor in this.
Yeah, I have Brooklyn in this game as well.
I'm gonna go with the opposite. I'm going with Cavs
Why?
because Garland's gonna be good, and then
Because I want to be different.
nah. Like I'm just being a little biased. Yeah, I think that I could see the upset happening. Like, but obviously Brooklyn's gonna. I think crunch time is gonna matter, and Brooklyn's gonna crunch it up and win. That's when it's gonna matter because there's gonna be a close game all game because they're gonna be tough to beat. They're you know what I'm saying they're fucking they're like disorganized, but somehow could get a bucket. The Garland's been so good on offense, but it's gonna come down to the fourth, and Brooklyn's gonna clutch it up in the fourth and crunch.
I expect Garland to have
I
a
think it's gonna
great
be a
game
tough
tonight.
game.
Though.
I think it's gonna be a
Not
tough
tonight,
game.
tomorrow night.
I
I expect Garland to go off.
I think it's gonna be a tough game though. Like I think it's gonna be tough, and if you do end up making a run, I think you're saying just playing that first play and then going into another series that could be what Milwaukee or
They
no
play against
Boston,
Boston in the first round.
Boston
If
and
they
then
win the
probably
game.
Milwaukee
which
after.
is gonna be
beat
could be
Boston.
tough. You know what I'm saying?
It's
But
gonna
I don't
be,
know.
we're gonna have the same exact playoffs we had last year.
It's
Yeah,
longer.
you guys
though.
have a crazy ass road to the playoffs if you guys do make it that far.
It's longer, and you guys don't get that week break, bro. That week break is gonna make a difference.
Yeah, I think that I go with the Nets, but I do expect X factor though for the Cavs to win. I think you're gonna need a big Lowry marketing game because the Nets play a lot of drop defense when they have a LaMarcus Aldridge on the court and an Andre Drummond on the court. So I expect to see Garland get a lot of threes up and make a good amount of them. He's been a great shooter this season. He's had
been
good
good.
games against the Cavs this year as well too.
He's been good since he came back.
Yeah, so I think that will be the way that they do win the game.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna move on to the 9-10 bracket in the Eastern Conference. We have Hawks Hornets. This one, when I was trying to break it down offense, defense, like I just said, these teams are neck and neck. Both are just high-powered, fast-paced offenses,
Fast-paced team.
and just shit defenses. It's like they cannot guard a parked car. They're both bottom 10 in defense. Hawks are I think 29 or 26. Hornets are about 23 or 24. But I give the Hawks the edge on rebounding. I think they have the best player in the game. Yeah, for a fact they have the best player in the game. And they've had success defending LaMelo Ball in the past. Well, this season. He's had so-so games, inefficient games against him this year. But I think the Hornets have the edge talent-wise. With after Trae Young, I think the next 3 or 4 best players in the game go to Charlotte. With LaMelo, with Terry Rozier, with Miles Bridges.
Oh yeah.
I honestly, and I think the coaching, I think it's pretty even. Who would you guys consider to be the best coach in this game between Borrego and McMillan?
I'm gonna go with.
That's a good one.
I think I go with Borrego too. I go with Borrego too. Honestly.
I feel like he just knows his team better than McMillan. Yeah. I think McMillan overall is a better coach, but I think Borrego just knows his team better.
Yeah, it probably has a better feel for his roster at this point.
For sure.
With how many guys are in and out for the.
But real quick though, I gotta go. So I want to give my predictions real quick on like who I think is gonna make the actual playoffs. So I think the 7th seed for the East is going to be Brooklyn, and then the 8th seed is going to be Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to lose the first game and then win whoever wins the 9-10 game.
Who's winning the 9-10 though?
I think the Hornets are going to win the 9-10, and then they're going to end up losing. And then for the West, I think it's going to be I think Minnesota is going to pull it out. They're going to come up with the 7th seed, and then the Clippers are going to end up beating the Pelicans in the other game and then make the 8th seed. So, yeah. That's it for me. I'll see you guys next week. And it's been real. Shout out Poverty Pod. Love D3. Keep an eye out for Under the Mat with TSK coming soon.
Peace out.
Adios. Yeah, so closing out on this one, I got Hornets in this game.
I got Hornets too.
I think I trust their offense more than I trust the Hawks offense.
I do too, and I think they have enough to throw bodies somehow, just because they have the size that they play in on the court.
They play a great zone too.
I think they could play Trae Young, and they've been for them playing small ball and then Mason Plumlee, it's been so great on Capella. I think rebounding wise, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like edge to edge, like close to rebounding, because the last couple of games, I'm saying the Hornets have been competing against them, even though you expect Capella to have a
Yeah,
game where he has like 15, 16 rebounds, you know what I'm saying? But it hasn't been that situation because of Mason Plumlee. It's been so great for them, honestly.
yeah, they're 2-2 on the season series. I wrote that down as well. Then moving on to the West, 7-8, we have Clippers, Wolves. I think the Wolves have the edge offensively. I give the Clippers the edge defensively, especially the versatility they have on that side of the floor with Powell, with Paul George, with Batum, with Marcus Morris. They play a lot of lengthy 6'9" guys similar to the Raptors. I think talent wise, the Wolves get the edge on that one too. I think they have more talent than the Clippers do at this moment. Coaching, the Clippers get the edge on that one. Tyler's top 3 coach in the NBA. But
Even
I
though you
think
don't have him on your coach of the year business.
he didn't have a coach. He didn't have a coach of the year level season, but he's top 3.
Oh,
But
yeah.
and I would probably give the Wolves the edge on rebounding as well. But some notes I took down: Clippers best player in the series.
Paul George.
Yeah, exactly. I think Paul George is the best player. Well, in the game, that we have the Wolves. I think their key to success. They're their number one team in forcing turnovers in the NBA, and it's not just turnovers thrown out of bounds. These are live ball turnovers, getting out in transition. They're top 5 in transition this season. So I think if they could get the ball going and they could get it as a fast paced game, that could really get into their advantage. But it all comes down to it's experience versus talent, and who do you give the edge to?
Me, Timberwolves, Clippers. I'm going to edge with Timberwolves. You know, for
Yeah,
honestly,
I got the Wolves too.
just because they've been so good all season and defensively they have you know what I'm saying, they've been better. Honestly, Patrick Beverly's is you know what I'm saying, he's been so good and he just got his
He's
16
like a
ejection.
snub for all defensive teams.
Didn't he just get his 16 ejection or something like that?
I don't know if it was his 16th, but he got ejected yesterday.
He got ejected. I don't know, but
I get the edge to
um,
the Wolves too.
you know what I'm saying, they've been great too. Vanderbilt's great. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Nas Reed's been so good for them too. They have a great center rotation. Cats are playing the All Star level. I'm saying they're good, and I think crunch time they could get buckets with D'Lo being, you know what I'm saying, consistent. I'm saying crunch time player like we seen. I seen it even live in Philly, but he's known for that. You know what I'm saying? He is honestly a good crunch player. Anthony Edwards, another guy who's been so good. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a good game. It's an important game for them. We'll see if the nerves actually hit them though, because you know the Clippers been so good,
That's
honestly.
it's experience, so they've been there, done that.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying, and that's a team that's not gonna give up to a 0-0 in the fourth.
Yeah,
So
so the game's over.
yeah, they have the most comebacks this season. So
Yeah, we can move on to the final game to close out the episode. Spurs Pelicans. Really, and like the Hornets in the Hawks game, even both sides. At this moment, Spurs rank 18th in defense, 18th in offense, and the Pelicans rank 19th in defense and 19th in offense. So
even game,
these two teams are very close. Like defense and offense defense pretty much similar. I would
but
give the
for the
edge
injured
defensively
player,
to the
he's been
Spurs.
injured.
That's what I'm saying. No, I haven't. Yeah, I didn't. That's why I didn't really hold into the season series. I didn't really hold that into account because they've been.
No. I'm talking about Brent. Yeah, no. I'm
Oh, is
talking
he
about
gonna play?
is he?
I'm
I'm
not
talking
sure
about
yet.
the playing. I don't
I'm
think.
not. I'm not sure if he's
I don't think
playing.
Mason. Honestly, it's tomorrow. It's literally tomorrow.
I'm gonna see if they have an injury report out yet.
He's been out the last couple of games. I don't think it
It's
makes
not tomorrow though. It's Wednesday. But he's questionable with a hamstring. He's probably gonna play. If it's a playing game, like he's definitely gonna play, and it's a 9-10.
it
So like
is.
he's definitely gonna play. But yeah, I would give the edge defensively to the Spurs though. I think with Poto, with DeJounte Murray, I think that gives them the edge defensively.
It's a good matchup for them. I think.
For the Spurs,
Yeah,
they have the better. I would give the Pelicans the edge offensively though. I think they have better offensive talent on the
for
court.
sure.
Rebounding goes to the Pelicans as well. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. And I think they have the best player in the game.
CJ.
I honestly think CJ's the best player in the game.
Yeah, that's what I said. CJ.
Yeah, I would give the edge to CJ.
Yeah,
And DeJounte Murray and Brandon Ingram is really close.
Yeah, it's really close.
You can't go wrong with either one.
But if the Spurs want to win, he needs to have like a crazy triple double.
I think if they
Which
really want to win,
he had one last play.
Keldon Johnson's the X factor.
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson's the X factor for the Spurs. I go with the Pelicans. I think they're gonna be better in crunch time as well. I think they have two guys that could close out the game for them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm expecting I'm just expecting Brandon Ingram to have a really big game tonight. Well, on Wednesday night. Give me the Pelicans.
Yeah, we're on Pelicans. Yeah.
And they give me the Pelicans to beat the Clippers. And I have them playing the AEC.
I don't. I have the Clippers beating the Pelicans.
I have the Pelicans beating the Clippers, and then I have the Hornets beating the Cavaliers for them to get the 8th spot. So I have the 10th seed in both conferences to come out.
I have the Hornets too.
Well, the Hornets are the 10th seed, Pelicans 9th seed, I believe. But that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it for today's episode, capped out at 2 hours. Sheesh. But we'll be back. We'll probably be back Friday before the next playing game. Expect another episode. There's 2 episodes this week because we have to preview the first round of the playoffs. It's not going to be enough time.
Yeah.
But thank y'all for tuning in.